Get it.
It's Friday, y'all. Let's get it. What's happening? Good morning, everybody. Welcome in the Rob Brown Show's on the radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. How's everybody? Having a good day? Having a great start to the day? I hope. My name is Rob Brown. I hope that you are exceptionally well. I hope that you are having a fabulous start of your Friday morning thus far, and I hope that we are going to make it better for the next 2 hours and 59-ish minutes or so. On the other side of the glass for me, the guy in charge of the radio broadcast today, the great one, Lonzo, who started off the show by forgetting headphones, which you do this long enough, it's going to happen.
How many times have you seen me do that?
Once. Today.
Today.
Literally is it.
Yeah.
Literally, it's it. Other than that, Lonzo has been perfect
I was
at
in
his job.
I was in deep discussion with engineering about a problem, and it caused me to forget.
How many of y'all pronounce the cushiony thing you lay your head on at night to go to sleep? How many of y'all pronounce it pillow versus pillow? Right? That's what we had Captain America Chris Evans down the hall in here. And if you have interacted or heard the conversations that we have with Captain America Chris Evans down the hall, you recognize that more often than not, that they're either conversations about semantics, but predominantly conversation about language, because we're both super fascinated in it. And Lonzo, what was the word you guys were discussing?
Jim.
And I guess you pronounced it Jim. I wasn't in the room. I don't know.
No, I pronounced it Jim. You know, like I'm going to be. They changed the sound card in here, so this is going to be interesting.
Cool, fun. So we got into the pronunciation of words, and there are people in my life who pronounce that cushiony thing you lay your head on to go to sleep at night, pillow.
I've never heard anyone say pillow before. That's weird.
And then we got into other words that is done with, including the word milk, which some people pronounce milk. Milk.
I still have never heard milk. I guess the people you hang around with, I'm gonna have to hang around with them some because I want to hear it said in its natural environment.
You don't. It.
I told you I'll say this again. My aunt growing up, her husband, she always said his name was Haired, and
was what?
Haired. And I kept telling my cousins,
like he's not bald, he's haired.
Yeah, I kept telling my cousins, dude, I think she means Howard. And there's no way.
That's not even close.
No way. It's Haired. It's like, that's not a name. And finally I asked her, I was like, how do you spell Haird's name? Howard. Haired.
I got nothing.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's pillow, it's milk, and it's Howard.
There are deep Southern accents depending on what state they're in. My mom, my aunts, my uncles all grew up in Kentucky. So Haired, I guess, perfectly acceptable to everybody, to the fact to where none of my cousins were curious enough to know exactly what that was. And I'm just like, I got to know what this is, because that's not a name. I mean, it just doesn't, curiosity. And I was right. So if someone said pillow, I would, is there a Southern accent involved?
Yeah. Obviously.
Okay. All right. So
Chris says no. Chris said that's as much of a Northern phenomenon as it is.
I've never heard pillow before.
Yeah, I have, but I go exclusively. It's from the South. All right.
Okay.
We have got actual sports to get into.
Welcome to the show, y'all. We're going to talk about pillows. We're going to talk about Jims. We're going to talk about them there Carolina Panthers and Gamecocks and maybe even them Tigers.
It is going to be a busy day today on the broadcast. What a start. I mean, just Hall of Fame caliber start to the show here on a Friday morning. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we're going to be joined on the phone by head coach of the Greenville Triumph, John Harkes. Harkes and the boys are getting set up for the USL League One semifinal matchup. That is going to be tomorrow evening live at Legacy Early College in downtown Greenville. If the Triumph win on Saturday, it is on to the USL League One finals. They will also, if they win, be waiting on the other side of the bracket, as if Richmond wins, the USL League One championship game will take place in Virginia. If Richmond does not win and the Triumph do, then the USL League One championship will be taking place right here in Greenville, South Kakalaki. So we'll be talking to John Harkes in about half an hour. Then an hour after that, at 10:35, we'll be joined by Kevin Thomas and John Epps of Moving the Chains. We'll run through our high school football schedule.
Yeah, I know I'm interrupting, but I got some DX for you, caller. Kevin's still on that thing?
Turns out.
Really?
Yeah, no golf to be played this week.
Okay, all right. I mean, because he hasn't been on it for a while. I didn't know if he's still doing. I'm good for him. I'm glad he's still doing that.
Yeah,
thing.
No golf for Kevin this weekend. So he's decided that he shall grace us with his presence to talk a little high school football, which is big, right? Because this is the last week of the regular season. Of course, tonight.
Can you believe this is the end of? I mean, this is the last regular season game.
Yeah.
How quickly did this go for you?
Ridiculous. Genuinely ridiculously fast.
Because
right?
it seems like it started just like a couple weeks ago and it's already at the end of the season.
Yeah, we were talking about this, right? Like, I have made a mistake and I got to try to fix it tonight, but I've made a mistake in that I haven't been recording the radio, the Burns calls, right? And that's something you obviously want if you're me for a demo reel, is you want play-by-play stuff. And I didn't realize that we didn't run tape on the whole game back in the studio, which is my fault. But I was talking earlier this week.
We did.
Oh, we did. Great.
You know why? Because everything is recorded.
Fair enough.
You just got to go on the skimmer. You can find all your stuff.
No, I meant like had somebody. Yeah, whatever. That's behind the scenes.
We also have all your highlights saved.
Do need those. So I was talking earlier this week with Kevin, as a matter of fact, about this. And I'm like, man, I need to get some highlight calls, right? I need to get some highlight calls. And he's like, well, just roll some more tape, right? There, I mean, you got time. And then I realized, nah, man, we got like this in the playoffs, right? Now, hopefully, the Burns Rebels are going to make a run through 4A, and we'll have a handful more games on the docket. But tonight's the last regular season game. It's already over for high school football, which is insane to me. It genuinely does feel like yesterday. I was sitting up at Nixon Field trying to figure out how to set up the equipment because it's week one, and I don't know.
Man, it's warm in here.
Texter says, I hear people mispronounce the word C-A-R-T as buggy all the time.
Me too. I just don't get that.
You know, there are some it's Greenville's awesome. Spartanburg's awesome. This whole area is awesome. Greenville's really interesting, obviously, because you still have people moving here. There's an influx of people, obviously, who aren't just from here, but aren't from the South, right? There's people from all over the country that are moving to Greenville, South Carolina at this point. And it's very similar to the area I came from. I sympathize, I empathize with people from Greenville who are watching people from all over the country move here. When I lived down in Destin, it was that way, right? Like when my family moved there were 17 people that lived there. And now it's like the Destin Fort Walton Beach metropolitan is 500,000 people. And there was always this kind of headbutting between the natives, the locals, and folks who have moved there. And I see that happening here. Although I think for the most part, you know, everybody gets along. There are a couple of conflicts that take place between people from around here, really people from the South, and folks that moved down here because of how beautiful it is. And cart versus buggy is way up on that list. It has always been a shopping cart to me, always. But when I moved here, in fact, I very much remember it. The first time that the lady friend and I had to go to the grocery store together, right? She's like, will you grab a buggy? To me, a buggy is a motorized cart that you drive over sand dunes, right?
Yeah, me too. I wanted to say that I've heard buggy all my life. It's buggy in Kentucky also, so it's not exclusive to.
Oh no, it's a southern thing.
To South Carolina, and you and I spend a lot of time. Look at that, MySpace is trending. That's weird. You and I spend a lot of time going, hey, I wonder where that came from. Looking up. I mean, our search history is all about trying to figure out where sayings came from and things. Buggy makes no sense. Okay. I get how some of you people call soft drinks soda and I call it pop. I get that because it's soda pop. So
it's just Coke.
You pick one word or the other. But how do you get buggy from shopping cart?
Buggy's been something you drive on a beach. A cart is something you push around that you hold stuff in. Kevin popped in the stream. He said, dude, it's a buggy, not a cart. Yank. I don't know, man.
I mean, that applies for me apparently, but not for you.
Well, no, but I also understand because Florida is the north of the South, right?
That's still, I get what you're saying. Still makes no sense.
So I don't know. All right.
I guess it's north of something. North of what's them islands down there?
The Keys?
I was thinking Cuba, but anyway.
No, we got our own.
Okay.
We got our own.
Well, yeah.
All right. We have got plenty to get into, but how about Tom Brady on his first 3-game losing streak since 2002? The last time that Tom Brady lost 3 consecutive games, Lonzo, Lamar Jackson was 5 years old. The last time that Tom Brady lost 3 in a row, Lamar Jackson was 5. Last night, Lamar Jackson beat Tom Brady to hand him his 3rd consecutive L. And not only do the Buccaneers fall to 3-5 after a 27-22 loss to Baltimore, not only does Brady go on his first 3-game losing streak since 2002, Rob Brown, by the way, a junior in high school, the last time that Tom Brady lost 3 in a row. But in the part that matters the most to us here, now Sunday's 1:00 showdown between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons over in the ATL. This game is for the lead in the NFC South. We are approaching the halfway point of the National Football League season, and the Panthers and Falcons are competing for first in the NFC South. Now, back in the beginning of the season, if I would have told you that at the halfway point, we were going to have 2 teams that were surprisingly tied for first place in the NFC South. Those 2 teams that you would have guessed, I'm not even going to ask it as a question. I'm going to say it as a statement, would have been the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints. Both of those teams are bad at football. And again, don't get me wrong, Carolina and Atlanta are also bad at football. It's a bad division top to bottom. But Atlanta has been playing beyond what they were expected to. Carolina knocked off Tampa and New Orleans both and are now 60 away from being not only in the lead in the NFC South, but 3-0 undefeated against all 3 teams in the NFC South. I am telling you this right now. Exactly and precisely 0 people predicted this. There is not a soul in America who predicted. Rashad Beer didn't predict it. Robin Lonzo on the Views from Mint Street podcast did not predict it. Baker Mayfield did not predict it. David Tepper did. Nobody thought that Carolina on Sunday playing Atlanta would be a battle for NFC South supremacy. None of us thought that. Not a soul. But here we are.
Here we are. And I think we talked about the fact that the Panthers had a good shot at maybe a wild card, but not beating winning the division. Still got to play this game Sunday, but man, you could be winning the division and still have a losing record. That's the bad part. That's the bad part.
It happened in 2014.
It did. 2014,
Carolina Panthers, your NFC South champion, and they did it with a losing record. It happens. It's not often.
By the
It
way,
doesn't happen
they
often.
can still have a winning record. There's still a lot of season
Sure.
left.
Sure. And listen, it's almost, I don't know, like I said, and Lonzo gets kind of bothered by it sometimes.
He's trying to pick his words. I mean, I don't know why.
I am.
He just, I mean, you know.
Well, I don't like to misspeak on the radio show.
I'll just pout and go home.
Just interrupt me and tell me I'm wrong.
No, I just do that way too much.
Let us bring some reality in the situation. My reality is Lonzo's pessimism sometimes, right? Here's the reality. Carolina Panthers are 2-5. The Atlanta Falcons are 3-4. If the Panthers beat Atlanta, they will improve to 3-5. The Falcons and Bucks will both be 3-5, but the Panthers would have the tiebreaker over both the Falcons and the Buccaneers with wins over each. So it'd be a half-game lead over Tampa and Atlanta both. New Orleans back at 3-5. They've got Vegas this weekend. If the Panthers beat the Falcons and the Saints beat the Raiders, the entire division will be 3-5. 3-5. 3-5. Not 5-3. 3-5. The whole division. And Carolina will have the tiebreaker because they will have a straight-up victory over all three teams. And that's great. But let's keep in mind that the Panthers will be 3-5, and their 3 wins will be over a bad and injured Saints team, a bad and injured Bucks team, and a bad Falcons team that's also injured.
Well, we don't know about the Falcons yet. We'll find out.
I know they're injured.
Yeah, well, we know that.
They're on DB like number 12.
As far as Tampa goes, that was last night. They just look bad. Tom Brady looks bad. Yes, I'm taking great joy in that, but they look bad. They absolutely do. They're going the other direction while other teams are heading up. Do you think Tampa Bay will have a shot at the division before the end of the season?
Yes. Yes, I do.
See, I don't. He and Mike Evans are not on the same page. They are not.
Wide receivers are just dropping the football. Brady's
no,
not throwing.
No. He was throwing it in the dirt.
I wasn't done.
Okay, whatever.
Brady's throwing it into coverage, right? He should have got picked in the end zone. There should have been a pick in the end zone. Brady's throwing it into coverage. I'm not disagreeing.
Also thrown into the dirt.
I don't disagree. But there have also been a metric boatload of drops so far as well. Even our game last weekend. Godwin running down the middle of the field, got a breadbasket pass. I mean, right over the shoulder. Evans, middle of the field, and that's a touchdown. That's a touchdown, and the complexion of that game is different. At some point, those little mistakes are gonna stop, right? Like they just have to. The law of averages says they don't have to stop.
They don't have to stop. And here's the other thing. I find it funny. It's selective depending on what quarterback it is. For some quarterbacks, it's the receiver's fault. It's all the receivers. It's not the quarterback. Why, he's this guy. But in the other cases, wow, Patrick Mahomes is having a horrible season. Even though people were not looking, this was last year, not looking at the fact that all his receivers were dropping the ball, then the sports media was like, let's go at Patrick Mahomes. They still ended up, doing pretty well, but they went after him. In this case, it can be both of their faults, but Tom Brady is not getting enough of the blame. When last night, I mean, they were not on, those two should be on the same page at this point in the season, and they're not. There's something going on between those two.
I'm not.
When they have to meet each other at the end of every play, and there's no yelling, there's nothing. There's just like looking at each other like, what's going on, man? How do we fix this? And they can't seem to do it.
I am not disagreeing with you at all, for the record. I'm not. There is more than enough blame for Tampa to go around. In fact, this what I was saying really isn't even Tampa centric. It's Carolina centric. The point that I'm making here is that I want Panther fans to be a little bit cautious in how they view this team, right? Because with a win on Sunday, you will be 3-5. So will Tampa. So will Atlanta. Atlanta's either going to be, or New Orleans either going to be 3-5 or 2-6. Either way, they're in trouble, right? By the way, Jameis is healthy. Sticking with Andy Dalton anyway. It's kind of interesting. We'll talk about that later, or we won't. I don't know. I don't care. You'll be 3-5, but the 3 wins are all in division, and every out-of-division team you've played has beaten you so far, right? It's kind of like saying, I played in a basketball tournament, and I went undefeated and won the championship this weekend. And it's like, that's super dope. Nice job. Until you find out it was down at the local middle school. A little less impressive at that point, right? This team is still a rebuilding team. Granted, they're not a rebuilding team that's playing for a higher draft pick. They're not a rebuilding team that's having a fire sale because, A, they got a good foundation, and B, they're in a very winnable division. But it's a bad division, and all your wins are divisional wins. Pump the brakes a little bit and recognize what this team is. There's still a lot of work to be done. That being said, go beat Atlanta. Take the divisional lead. Let's have a little fun with it, right? All right, let's take a break. Texter says, JA17, JA17, JA17 MVP. Right now, he is the Vegas odds-on betting favorite as MVP. But if Mahomes has about 5 more games like he did last week, that'll change.
Josh Allen didn't play last week. Okay.
I meant Mahomes. If Mahomes has...
No, JA17
gotcha.
Okay. You and I are like Mike Evans and
we're just
Brady
not on the same
today.
page,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
not. I
That's
mean,
Friday.
you know.
Why is my dude dressed like the Joker today?
People are doing their Halloween shows when they do them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I get it now. Why is everybody doing a Halloween show today? Y'all know Halloween is actually on Monday, right?
It is Monday.
Like you
sure.
for the first time, as long as you can do Halloween on Halloween. Why are we all doing Halloween shows today? Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
97.7 FM Greenville.
By the way, I'll be doing a Halloween show tomorrow on the Upstate Pulse. Make sure you tune in.
Right, but your show's not going to be on Monday. So you
Right.
would do it.
Well, maybe they're not going to be on Monday. It could be.
Homecoming at Paladin Stadium in a battle for the top of the SoCon on Saturday. Pregame begins at 12:30. Hear every play on the Fan Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and everywhere on the free Odyssey app.
So I went to this
From the 106
computer to do
WORD
chapters,
Weather
and now it's
Center,
doing
here's the
the
Upstate's
other
most
one.
trusted
Cool.
forecast
It
on
won't let me
the
edit,
Upstate. Partial sunshine develops
titles
overnight
'cause it
today,
says
high
chapter is in
66.
progress.
Tonight, a slight chance for drizzle here late. Partly cloudy skies develop a low near 50. Saturday, slight chance for drizzle early, partly sunny skies, a high of 64, and Sunday, chance for rain, high of 61. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on the Fan Upstate. Currently, it's 54.
Hey, it's Rob Brown. Listen, if you are into the real estate market right now, you have heard that it is a seller's market. And with real estate appreciation in double digits and inventory at historic lows, that is really, really good news if you're looking to sell a home. But most
Thank you,
sellers
lad.
also need to buy a home too. That's where interest rates are important. Interest rates are rising. They are still well below the historic average of 7%. And home buying remains a strong financial decision. So reach out to my friends at Allen Tate because Allen Tate is helping both sides of the market, both buyers and
I got it, Josh.
because both sides
Thank you.
have real estate
Sorry.
goals. And Allen Tate, the #1 real estate company in North and South Carolina, is helping buyers and sellers just like you. So if you're in the market on either side, you need to reach out to my friends at Allen Tate. Find them online at allentate.com. That's allentate.com.
If you own a business,
I don't know. Is he in a bad mood or am I just annoying today?
I'm sure you
I know I'm annoying in most days, but
you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded
ooh, Legend of the Sea Devils is trending. I wonder what that is. Probably Wakanda Forever. Oh no, it's Doctor Who. Duh. It's cool. I listen. I appreciate you guys helping me with that. I forgot my headphones today. Who knows what else I'm gonna forget? As long as I remember my name.
This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee, go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if the prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online. Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation. Discreet shipping if prescribed.
I'm gonna get a new chair if it kills me.
Trusted generic alternatives to-
Well, if it kills you, then you don't need it.
It won't matter.
Yeah, it's,
But I'll go out with a new chair.
there you go. Rob requests you be buried in a chair, a new one. Genuine leather, not that fake stuff.
Well, obviously, nothing but in my house.
So, what color would the leather need to be? You want dark leather? You want?
I really just like the traditional brown. You know.
Is that cow brown? I don't know. I mean, what kind of brown is that?
I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. I know the brown. I have a leather jacket like that with the straight up brown.
This feature sponsored by Indeed. As the leaves change, leave the hiring to Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule.
I went to Borderlands for a minute yesterday.
Right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/.
I really like that store.
Enjoy it while you can, because
I know it's moving.
it's moving November 11th. So yeah, I can't. It won't let me edit the chapters now. Lovely. Ooh, Iron Man gaming chair, but that's cool. Warehouse and first break.
Okay.
Or next break.
All right, quick segment here because we've got John Harkes, head coach of the Greenville Triumph, coming up in the next segment. Triumph playing in the USL League One semifinal tomorrow. It is at Legacy Early College. If you don't have plans, be there and make a little noise for the boys. Would love another piece of hardware here in the upstate as we continue to grow the sporting community throughout the upstate. Texter says, Rob, Atlanta is going to roll the Cats. I will tell you that game is on our Boo Box Bets picks that we'll be making later on in the show. But I don't know, man. Like, I think this one's got potential to be a really interesting game. I think that with Marcus Mariota, who has been playing above his pay grade, again, nothing exceptional, right?
I can tell you this. I am probably going to predict a Carolina win. I know we have it on Boo Box, but I can tell you there's another place where you could get extensive breakdown of this game. It's called the Views from Mint Street podcast, which we really would love for you guys to download and like and subscribe and all that stuff. Just to, at least go and hit listen. Although if you listen, you'll enjoy the podcast.
Views from Mint Street available where major podcasts are found. Of course, you can go download and subscribe and get yourself set up so you don't miss a minute of our conversation, hosted by Lonzo Reitzel. And also, I'm there. It's if you want a Carolina podcast, it's the way to go. And we'll be dropping our weekend preview episode later on this afternoon. As soon as the show is over, we will roll into recording that pod. It'll be out later this afternoon. We'll be discussing, obviously, the reality around the NFC South. Right now, we'll be talking about the game against Atlanta on Sunday and what the future of this team might look like if we get that dub and take over the NFC South. Texter says, LOL, Tom Brady.
That's genuine laughter. It really is.
Lonzo is giddy over the fall of the GOAT.
Normally I don't prefer to be called giddy, but I think That's
There's no other word.
Oh, there's an app. That's an app description as to what I'm feeling today. It's elation. There's a lot of things, but giddy would be it. Yes,
Giddy is the word.
Giddy is led to giggling, something I don't do very often, but when I do, it's for good reason.
It pretty much always involves Tom Brady.
It does. It does.
For the most part. So this game in Atlanta, very, very interesting. Texter says, does Brady get benched? No, they're not going to bench the GOAT. They're not.
Oh, the joy in my soul if that would ever, but they're not going to do that.
No.
They're not. If you bench Brady, he just walks off the field and quits.
Genuinely might.
Yeah.
On top of that, though, who you going with? Blaine Gabbert or Tom Brady? Tom Brady at 50% is better than Blaine Gabbert.
I don't know. Brady looked pretty bad
Yes,
last
you
night.
do.
No, I don't. I don't know that. He has fallen off. I think the emotional trauma on top of all the injuries and everything that's going on has really hurt him to the point where he doesn't look like he wants to be there.
He did have some really good, really poor throws.
Yeah, it was. You know what? It was a lack of effort. And here's the other problem. Baltimore did not want to win that game.
They really did try to give it away multiple times.
At the beginning of the game, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have to turn this off because Tampa Bay is going to go up 2 touchdowns and this thing is over. But Tampa Bay was even less motivated than what Baltimore was. And so we see the results. He doesn't want to be there. He's not really trying. He didn't even throw anything. He didn't yell at anybody. He's already quit.
We were having lunch yesterday. Me, Stathakis, Thomas, and the lady friend had lunch at Warehouse in Midtown yesterday, right? And they were showing Brady up on the screen, and I had 2 problems with it. Number one, I think Captain America Chris Evans down the hall's in here. This will make him laugh, I think. Brady had on a shirt. The NFL's campaign this year, every October they do their cancer awareness and prevention campaign, which is amazing. But the shirt he had on said intercept cancer. And the first thought I had is, what happens when you intercept something? You have it. It's yours. Like that's your.
You catch it.
Yes. Is that the best slogan we could? Is that the best slogan we could come up with? Is intercept it? Shouldn't be like knock cancer down, deflect cancer,
or block it.
Tackle cancer.
Yeah, there you go.
There are 15 other football things that would have been a better phrase than catch cancer. Second thing I noticed, though, is that Lonzo, but I don't know if you've seen any of his pressers. Brady looks terrible.
Yeah, he does not look good.
He does not look healthy. He doesn't look healthy.
He looks gaunt. There's a distance in his eyes as if his soul is already gone.
Listen, I know that we like to have a good time beating up on the GOAT.
Yeah, he doesn't look good. You're right. Eating a little bread might help. I know you don't do that, but I mean,
I don't know.
No, don't do that.
I will say this. He looks unhealthy. And I kind of got when we were talking about that yesterday because Courtney tapped me on the shoulder. She's like, what's wrong with Tom Brady? She genuinely asked, is he sick? And I'm like, I'm to the point. I kind of think that his off the field drama is like killing his mental health right now. I really do.
We've all went through things like similar in emotion to what he's going through right now, and it just wrecks you everywhere. It does.
When my pops passed away, right? Like my dad told me, he's like, dude, when it happens, get your ass back to work, right? He's like, you got to move on, you got to work, whatever. So my pops passed. I think I took one day off, and then I was back at work like the 2 days later, and you felt really good when the mic was on. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like this is what Pops wanted. And then 10 minutes of the show, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I can't focus on football right now, right? 1, 2. And I kind of think that's where Brady is. All right, we'll talk more about this later on in the show. But let's take a break because John Harkes, head coach of the Greenville Triumph, is going to join us coming up in the next segment to talk a little USL League One Championship. That is next on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
Warehouse.
Yeah.
All right, waiting on John Hartz. He'll be with us here in just a moment from right now. My man Doug Irwin is hunting him down for us. When we get Hartsey, we'll throw him straight up on the air. In the meantime, the Greenville Triumph are set to square up coming up tomorrow in the USL League One Championship. We will be taking on arch nemesis Tormenta out of South Georgia in the semifinal. Very interesting game. It'll be available on ESPN Plus if you can't get there, but more importantly, freaking get there. If you have not been to a Triumph game yet, this is the one to get to. This is the one you're going to want to be a part of, man. This is the one you're going to want to be a part of. This is the game. So if you haven't been yet, Legacy Early College tomorrow, game goes just after 7 p.m. It should be loud. It should be spectacular. If you want to get into the chaos, grab your GA ticket and hit section 110. There are also seats available. You know, I have mentioned this before. I want the sporting community of this area to grow in proportion with the population of the area, right? Like as we continue to watch this area to grow, having a sports environment that keeps up with it is a goal of mine. It's an objective of mine. And I think we've done a great job with that so far, right? We've got the Greenville Swamp Rabbits playing hockey. I know that hockey is not a predominantly Southern sport, obviously, but I also don't know why it wouldn't be, outside of the fact that can't really have a rink operating in July. It's a little toasty. It's a great sport. It's fast. It's physical. It's hard hitting. Fights, right? Like it's everything you would want in a sport. You have got the Greenville Drive. I don't think I need to argue with you that baseball is still America's pastime, and the Drive do an amazing job of capturing the Americana of a game, but also making it energetic and exciting and fun. You've got obviously the Greenville Triumph that we're talking about. Match day at Legacy earlier is amazing. It's fantastic. I am at every Triumph home game I can get to, which is the majority of them, because it is a blast. And then obviously we've got our friends at Furman. They got a little football game going on Saturday. As a matter of fact, we got a couple of tickets to give away later on in the show to tomorrow's game against Chattanooga, and your chance to be entered into the grand prize drawing, a VIP experience at the Furman game. Stay tuned for that. Tickets coming up very shortly. We've got Wofford. Basketball in this area is spectacular. I hope we get ourselves a pro team at some point, right? Like, could you imagine having an NBA G League team here? I absolutely would love to see that happen at some point down the line. I absolutely think we could support that. The sports community in this area is as exceptional as anywhere I've ever been in my life to this point. It is incredible. And it takes organizations that aren't just a part of the community, but are actively involved in the community, right? It takes a community that is actively involved with the area, that put themselves out there, that do work to invest back in the community. And with all due respect to every program in the area, I don't know that there is a program that does a better job of that than the Greenville Triumph. They support this area. They are constantly investing back in Greenville, back in the upstate. And I think it's, I think it's important we invest back in that. You want other programs to do that? You want other teams to do that? This is how you make that happen, by showing up and putting in some love to the team that puts so much love back into our community. So we'll hopefully get John Hartz on here in just a minute. Still waiting on him. Doug's texting me back. If we can't get him in the next 4 or 5 minutes, then we'll try to push that interview back till 10 and talk to him. Then keep in mind, 10:30, we will be joined on the show by Kevin Thomas and John Epps of the Moving the Chains podcast to talk with them about the upcoming high school football slate. All right, couple more things I wanted to get into on the show. This is a genuine question. And we talked about Jimbo Fisher yesterday. And I asked the question, is my vendetta against Jimbo fair or foul, right? Jimbo Fisher, I watched him at Florida State when I was broadcasting down in Destin. I have said, I maintain that if it wasn't for Jameis Winston, Jimbo Fisher would be another Lane Kiffin, a guy who's better than average, but certainly not amongst the best coaches in college football. But he stumbled into Jameis. And don't forget, a part of the reason that he stumbled into Jameis Winston was because Jameis wanted to play baseball too. And Nick Saban in Alabama basically was like, no, man, you're going to focus on football, right? We're going to make you the best quarterback we can make you. Whereas Jimbo was like, dude, you want to play baseball, right? Don't miss practice, but as long as you want to play baseball. And it got Jameis to Tallahassee. And obviously in 2013, they beat Auburn for the national championship that year. If it wasn't for Jameis, Jimbo would just be another average to above average head coach, right? But my question here regarding the rest of college football is the pay scale of Jimbo Fisher with an almost $81 million buyout, is this going to reset the way that we view college football coaches? Are we about to see schools decide we maybe have hit the market cap on the value for coaches, right? That aren't Nick Saban, that aren't Ryan Day, that aren't Dabo Swinney. We'll talk more about that later on in the show because we go to the phone lines now. And we welcome in a friend of mine, both on the show and off, on the pitch and off. He is the head coach of your Greenville Triumph. They are getting set to take on Tormenta in the USL League One semifinals tomorrow night, just after 7 p.m. at Legacy Early College. Head coach of the Triumph, John Harkes, joins us here on the show. Harksey, what's up, big fella?
Hey, Rob Brown. How are you, sir?
Living the dream, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good. Yeah, just came ready for training here.
I love it.
Things out. We're good to go.
I love it. Big one. Semifinals coming up tomorrow, Coach. And, before we get into some of the X's and O's and Jimmys and Joes here in just a minute, how's the team feel, man? Is there is there excitement, a little bit of anxiety? Is there we've been here before, let's go do it again mentality? How's the team feel right now?
Look, I mean, these situations are always special moments because they're great opportunities. And we have the experience of being in 3 finals in 3 years. We don't take it for granted that we have an easy access to get there again. We've got to get past Tormenta, very tough team, but right now the environment's good. Guys are solid, and just preparing, going through the last little final details today in training to make sure that we got our tactical approach. And I think they're in a really good place right now. So hopefully that transcends onto the field tomorrow night.
John Harkes, head coach of the Triumph, joining us here on the show. And, listen, Tormenta is a team, obviously, we've got a lot of familiarity with. It's developed into a bit of a rivalry over the past couple of years. Coach, what's the mentality? I mean, does it change how you attack the game when you've got so much familiarity with a team we've built a rivalry with, but this game, obviously, probably more important than we've ever played against Tormenta in the past?
Well, I mean, you focus on every game, right? And then the number one thing from our perspective is to make sure that we got the right mentality. What are we doing that's going to be purposeful in our game? How do we focus on us, and our approach? And then, obviously, you want to make sure that the players are aware of their strengths, but also their weaknesses. Where can we exploit them? And over the years, it's from a logistics standpoint, it's become a rival. They're close by, and they're a team that, look, this is their first year they made the playoffs. First year in 4 years. So they've had a good run, and they're going to be on a high. They're going to use that energy, and they're going to be excited to come out here. We've got to match that energy, Rob. It's going to be really important tomorrow night.
Yeah, and obviously, Coach, we've talked about this pretty much every week. You and some of the boys have been on the show all season long. the energy, at least to me, has been very, very good at Legacy Early so far all season long. I mean, there was a stretch there that we were getting a lot of one-pointers, and yet it seemed like every time it was kickoff at Legacy Early, that place had a buzz to it. From the folks I've talked to, it's not going to be any different tomorrow, maybe even a little bit more juice. And I know it's kind of a cliche question, but especially in a playoff game, especially with a ticket to the final on the line, how much better is it? How much easier is your job when the boys have got a packed stadium filled up on a Saturday night to push for a playoff win?
Well, it's no surprise to hear when any, home team, you want the advantage of a home team, is the crowd. It's the same of even going to like a Clemson football game last week. I took the coaches out there just to kind of enjoy that environment, that atmosphere. And, it's like there's such an influence there. There's such a positivity and that energy that's in that stadium at Death Valley. And, we want the same here at Triumph Stadium at Legacy Early College tomorrow night. We want to make sure that the fans come out. They understand that we're playing for them. We represent the badge. We put it on, and we appreciate all their support in the community, and we want to make sure that we get those fans in the seats tomorrow night and they push us on. And, we feel that energy, and it really translates on the field into really good positive energy that helps us win the game.
John Harkes, head coach of the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Coach, obviously with the added pressure of knowing the semifinals on the line, the added pressure of having 3 consecutive finals appearances, looking to make it 4, which, I think basically qualifies you to be the man that's in charge of a dynasty right now. How do you approach the team mentality versus trying to get the best out of individuals? Guys like Jesus Ibarra that we've started to see him kind of hit his pickup late in the season. How do you as the manager approach having the guys play as a team in a game like this when the spotlight's on them, but making sure you are getting that great individual play from some of the leaders of this team?
Just keeping that trust, that open trust. They trust me. They trust the coaching staff. We respect them, as players. And as you said, like, that's something that goes on in our environment throughout the whole year. We create a very good trusting environment where the guys know that they're loved and they're supported here. And so, when it's difficult times, you embrace the grind. You don't hide away from the dirty work. You roll up your sleeves. You don't complain. You get to work, you fight. And we had this honest work throughout the whole season. And then as we self-reflect on that, we look at individual performances, how we can be better, and then how does that help the collective group? It's very simple. And if you keep to that formula on a consistent basis, guys know what to expect. You're going to have unpleasant times. You're going to have frustrating results. But the faster you find those solutions and get yourself propelled forward, that's the better the team is. So we're hoping that keeps going throughout the rest of this year.
John Harkes is the head coach of the Greenville Triumph. They are at home against Tormenta tomorrow evening, 7:05 kick. It is the USL League One semifinals, a ticket punch to the finals. If we get that dub, scratch that, coach. When we get that dub, man, I cannot imagine a better place to be tomorrow night than at Legacy Early College, Coach. We wish you the best, man. And look forward to the interview next week when we're talking about the same, but with a championship on the line.
Let's make that happen, Rob. And also just a slight correction there. The kickoff tomorrow night, it's the first one that we've had all year, and it's due to TV and ESPN, is 7:30 kickoff.
7:30 kick.
Yeah, so making sure that everybody knows that.
What happened, Coach? What happened there is I got to thinking about those dollar brewskis that go on in the stadium an hour before kick, and it got my schedule off. You know what I mean?
Yes, I can see how that could definitely pull you away from your focus right now. Definitely, I can see that happening to you. Well done, Rob. Well done. Look forward to catching up with you tomorrow night, my man.
We'll do it, Coach. You're the best. We'll talk to you next week, brother. Thank you very much. That is John Harkes, head coach of the Greenville Triumph, again tomorrow at home, 7:30 kick against Tormenta in the USL League One Championship semifinals. A win, and we're on to the finals. If Richmond wins on the other side of the bracket, the championship game will be in Richmond. If they don't, and we do, it'll be right here in the Upstate. We'll keep talking soccer until we are all done and lifting some more hardware here in the Upstate. Hour number 2 is around the corner on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for
See
T-ball,
South.
celebrating Friday night rivalries,
We are
televising college
approaching the
basketball
halfway
games, bringing
point
the fan fest to semi-pro
of the next.
soccer.
Yeah, there's a little bit of overmodulation,
Yeah.
but it may not be too bad. I don't know. He came and adjusted it, so
Okay.
the last segment was fine.
It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, lots of savings.
But I couldn't sacrifice on air to worry about record level for pod. So
Since 1916, Smith & James men's clothing has been an upstate staple. They are the fabric of the community, and Smith & James thrives because they
did you try to do it again? I'd already taken it off there. It won't work. I told him. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Because I was going to take a picture of the error message.
Okay. Yeah. I've been responding to his emails telling him that we couldn't. I thought I responded all. You really don't have a lot of time.
Yeah, I just got to grab another drink.
Okay.
Are you ready to tackle your banking needs? Home Trust Bank's team of expert advisors and lenders want to be your teammate. We want to hear your story, learn your aspirations, and assist you with financial needs, and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all.
Sorry, it seems like I'm just sitting here staring at the screen, but I'm
Personalized touch at Home
processing something and hoping it gets done in time.
Trust Bank. Ready for what's next.
That's radio.
FDIC.
Things come down to the last second sometimes.
I know Doug is texting me, and he's like, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Dude, half of my career is just figuring out how to make it work on the fly."
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job.
Probably should have. No, I have to do it now because I'm posting it. So I'm
Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter.
using a thing that repairs clips. Clipping, a thing that repairs clipping on clipping and clips, two different things.
So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com.
Wonder why we're having so much trouble. I remember to get to my YouTube, I have like 2 accounts and I didn't realize it, so I had to share one with the other one. Why can't he just do that? It did take me forever to figure that out, but I did figure it out eventually.
Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. He's the Rob Brown Show.
Hour numero dos of the Rob Brown Show. What is happening to me right now?
Hey, man, you're good. It's Friday. It's awesome. You got a football game tonight. We got a podcast today. We got a show that we're doing right now. And it sounds great. Rob, it sounds great.
Ladies and gentlemen, Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show starts now.
That means 2 for people who are
does.
not bilingual like Rob.
Una más cerveza, por favor.
He just ordered a drink.
A beer specifically. It's true. Not at 10:01 a.m. I mean, I would like tomorrow at 10:01 a.m. There's a good chance I'll be watching game day, is what I was saying.
You might need a drink if you're watching that show still.
What is the animosity towards College Game Day? Like, it used to be something that I thought collectively we all loved. Like, I thought it was something that pretty much everybody that's a college football fan was on board with. And now on Saturdays, I scan the social media and like half the people are griping about it. What happened to College Game Day that as many people hate on it as love it? What happened?
I mean, I love McAfee. I
Love
mean,
Mac.
There's, I have aught against Herb Street because of his Clemson love, and which he puts above Ohio State love. Yes, he does. Oh, yes, he does. Ask any Buckeye fan. He puts Clemson love above Ohio State love, and that bothers me. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe it got so popular and so big that now people want to see it torn down.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I College Game Day was for so many years the institution for Saturday mornings, right? Like for years, everybody watched it. I remember in the very early days of Twitter when I would get on and it was just like everybody was talking about what's happening on game day. And now it's not that anymore, right? And I know that it has changed, right? Like, I know there are some people that think Pat McAfee's a little much. And I get it. I do.
See, I don't see any hate for him. I think another part of it is the fact that Lee Corso's still there and everyone feels bad that he's still there. I'm not saying he should lose his job, but it almost makes it look like that they're using him and they're putting someone out there who can't talk as well as he used to, and just for the headgear. And I can't watch it mostly because of Lee Corso.
Yeah, but
he's not on there as much. I know.
They've
but
also got to the point that they'll bring him on for like a segment here and there, and then the pick segment. And I get that. On the flip side,
if you get rid of Herb Street and you get rid of Desmond Howard, I probably would watch it more.
Dez is getting smoked right now.
Yeah, and he's Michigan guy, so I can't. But his takes are not good. His takes have been, I mean, he's been off a bunch, really bad.
Desmond Howard's playoff bracket was Texas A&M, Pittsburgh, Baylor, and Michigan. And obviously, as a Michigan man, I'm not shocked he put Michigan on there.
Well, the most feasible one out of all of those
was Michigan.
Yeah.
Texas A&M is bad. Pitt is not good. Baylor's not good. Michigan's the only one still standing, and that's taking a flyer that they are going to be able to beat a very good Ohio State team. And Michigan's good too.
As someone who loses the boo box every single week, I get how
you've drawn a couple times.
I get how you can get picks wrong, but I get
bad.
but I get some right. I mean, last week I had a stellar week. He does not do that. I mean, yeah, that's just like you drew names out of a hat kind of thing.
Texas A&M's 3-4, Pittsburgh's 4-3, Baylor's 4-3. Michigan's the only one who's got standing. I get that, right? I made fun of those picks the day he dropped them. I was like, nope. Come on, Des. But, as far as Coach Corso goes, I have kind of hit the point where I've gotten too many stories about how ESPN's basically told Corso, it's up to you when you stop doing game day, right? Like, it's up to you at this point. They're not going to run him off. And I think if there is a guy on that panel who deserves the lifetime contract, who deserves to call his own shot, it's Lee Corso, right? I got no problem with Corso on there. And it's not like they're shoving him through the full, 3 hours every day.
You know, it's got to be something when I prefer to watch the big noon kickoff pregame, and I'd rather watch Brady Quinn than watch any of the guys on game day.
So I don't know.
And maybe part of it is they're usually kicking off a Big Ten game, and
Right.
and you know that might be the attraction to me.
That's what I was going to ask was, is it because big noon kickoff tends to be a little more Big Ten centric?
Well,
not that they don't talk all the football, but they are a little more Big Ten centric.
There's also, and even though they backed off of this a bunch, I think there's also ESPN went so political for so long. It's just like people have looked for alternatives and have found them, and they don't want to go back in case that ESPN goes back to where they were, especially during the pandemic, and how they, I mean, I try to watch KJM some in the morning, but then they go a certain direction. It's like, okay, let me watch Good Morning Football, even though it's vanilla and as cheesy as can be. At least they're not going to go in the direction that those guys are on. So that may be part of it too. I don't know.
See, and I guess game day has always had those feature segments, right? Like that's not really about football. It's about the people in football. They've always had the segments about the player who came through adversity, or the player that had all these issues in high school that he had to overcome, or the player who was sleeping in his car before he got a scholarship. They've always had those stories, but it's always been about what players and fans have gone through, right? They always had the sad violin story. They always had this, and I'm not mocking it. It's just it was always kind of like sad stories about adversity. And now that athletes really at every level have more of a voice than they've ever had before. Athletes have the ability to say and do more than they've ever had before. Now they are at the point where there are still those stories that they can do, those feature stories where they talk about the adversity athletes and fans have gone through and how college football has been a rock for them going through that. But they also can talk about, this kid's doing this. Remember the walks at Clemson that Rensher and those guys led last year, right? And Dabo was right there with them, leading those walks, or 2 years ago, whatever it was, when they were doing the walks for change on the Clemson campus, and the whole team showed up, and you had a couple of guys that were in charge, and Dabo was there walking with but behind them, et cetera, et cetera. And they've done segments on that too. And I guess for some people, you can view that as political. It doesn't mean, like, I'm interested in what these athletes are interested in, right? Every year when game day does the Army-Navy game, right, they always feature a couple of kids on, a couple of cadets, a couple of midshipmen. They talk about these guys and the military career, and they talk about this guy is going to go fly helicopters in combat zones, and this guy is going to lead a platoon, right? And I never see that as being viewed politically, right? It's only that situation like at Clemson, and I just wonder, is that really the reason?
Because one thing's political and one thing isn't. But I mean that's fine. I am telling you, me personally, I'm giving you some of the reasons why I don't watch it anymore. And I believe there are others like me that don't watch it.
I agree,
anymore.
but I'm asking, like, is that the main cause? Like, do you think that is the main reason that College Game Day has had Big Noon and others leech off of it?
All right, so when you get, say you're watching your favorite TV show and it gets to like season 8 or 9, and the plot is played out to the point where they're doing musical episodes and things like that because they can't think of anything else. I think it's been around so long that it's no longer fresh. It's no longer what it was in the beginning, to a degree where you're just like, yeah, I know what I'm getting here. Let's go see what these guys are doing.
So it's just too formulaic at this point?
There are a lot. I think there's no one definitive reason.
Okay,
I think there
fair
are
enough.
a lot of reasons that factor into it.
Fair enough. And I think that above everything else we've said is probably accurate. In fairness, It has been the same show for a very long time. Now, they've introduced some new elements, right? Like Bears Picks, where they go to Bear off to the side and he gives you his best gambling lines on the day if you're into that. And to me, it's a fine addition to the show, right? To me, it's a fine addition to the show. I like it because I gamble on it.
He's just not pretty enough to be on TV.
It's not even pretty enough. He's just like, it's super. McAfee brings so much energy to that show. And then you go to Bear and he's like, yeah, just like UCLA minus 2.5.
But see, the fact that they brought McAfee in is they know that they're failing and they're trying to bring in that guy who's going to work that crowd, who's going to do all that. And McAfee is the biggest thing going.
See, but I don't know about that, because then I would be able to make the same argument about Friday Night SmackDown, right? Like I could say, oh, they brought in McAfee because they knew the product they had was struggling and he was a guy that was going to energize the crowd a little bit.
Yeah, at the time when they brought him in, yes, this was before Triple H took over. You're absolutely right.
Fair. I think McAfee's a welcome addition because, and this is the other part of it, right? And as a broadcaster, I promise you I am more aware of this than anything else, right? You guys want to know a big chunk of the reason that even when I feel like crap, I still come in here and try to be as loud and energetic as I can?
Because that's what you're supposed to do as an employee.
Besides that?
Yeah, I mean, other people may not do that, but you do, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You and I are the same as far as that goes. Playing hurt is a part of sports.
It's part of the game. But there is another reason why. And then the other reason why is, let's be real, there are 10,000 different places you could go get your sports talk, right? You could go to, how many college football podcasts are there right now? 1 billion? I think every person from the age of 22 to 36 has a podcast at this point, right? There are so many damn options. But at the same time, here's another one. Why do you think Lonzo and I started streaming the show? How long ago now, Zoe? About 1.5 years we've been doing this now?
Since I got here is when we started. When I came to this program, we started doing it full time. You were already doing the bits and pieces in there, but yeah.
But about 1.5 years, we've been going full time every day, all 3 hours. Why is that? Because a lot of people have moved over to getting their sports talk digitally, right? From a computer, as opposed to from terrestrial radio.
I would say there's another reason, though. I think people are to the point now that they don't want to hear people who sound like, I'm a radio guy. They want people who are real. And what we are, I mean, on the air and during breaks, because the show continues, we're talking, we're interacting with the people on the stream. That's why we have people here every day, and we're real people. And I think that's the other thing. I think the way people consume media now is, to the degree they want to see someone who's real. They want to see and hear someone who's a real person with real flaws and real biases and all those things. They don't want to see someone who's just, being radio guy or being TV guy.
And I think that is a part of the. I think that's part of the McAfee explosion, right? Like, that's why I want to do this stream. I like doing this stream because I get to go metaphorically face to face with you guys, and we get to constantly be ourselves the whole time. So if you find yourself picked up by the energy listening on the radio and you come to the stream, it's like a different thing. And McAfee has done that, I think, better than anybody else. He has kind of found that groove. He's kind of found that spot. And I think he's kind of taken that to the next level. And I think Game Day recognizes that, right? Like, I think Game Day gets that. All of us in traditional broadcasting, television, radio, whatever, we recognize that podcasting and YouTube shows, and that is the future, right? Mark Ryan's got Josh Pate on every week, and there's a reason. Pate does a YouTube show, but it has grown so damn exponentially at this point.
He's also very entertaining, and he's a real dude.
Well, here's the thing. Even if you get a YouTube show, at the end of the day, you still got to be entertaining. It's just in a different medium, and I think Game Day recognized that, and that's where the Pat McAfee explosion has come from, and that's why they picked him up. to just add a new dynamic. Same reason we went to the stream, just add a new dynamic. All right, let's get a couple of phones in here before we take a break. Let me start with my dude, Kevin, hanging on the line. Big K, what's up, brother?
What's happening, my fellas?
Just hanging, dude. How you doing?
Oh, man, chilling, man, on a good Friday morning. Conference championship time tonight, man. Broome and Chapman going at it for the conference championship tonight, man. So hopefully we can go out there and just keep rolling how we've been rolling the last few weeks, man, and jump on these boys early, come out fast, and get this thing over with.
I like it. We got that one. We got Burns Gaffney tonight. That's a big one for the Rebs. They need to get back to 500. I mean, we got a lot of good high school football in the upstate tonight.
Hey, I know you ain't been up this way long, and you getting around and seeing Burns and Gaffney and Spartanburg and all them boys play. But I tell you what, you have got to get to a Spartan High and Dorman game. One night, one Friday, if you ain't got nothing to do, Burns ain't playing, you got to go see that atmosphere, man. You got to go see it.
I did a game at Spartanburg, and I've done a game at Dorman this year. Burns was on the road at both of those schools this year, which absolutely was a shootout for nicest stadiums I've ever been to. But I have been told that Dorman v. Spartanburg is like a damn college football atmosphere.
Oh, it is, man. It is. Like, I have seen some of the greatest games, like God rest his soul, man. Brian Walford that played at Clemson back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Had a Hail Mary catch, man. That thing was so beautiful, man. It was something crazy. And they beat Dorman like 31-30 on a Hail Mary pass. And then they messed around and played them in the state championship in like 94, and that was so crazy. But let me get to what I called you for today. Let me tell you about your boy Tom Brady. So, hey, man, look, it's time to go to the house. Like, it'd have been better if him and his old lady would have been like, hey, babe, I'm going to go. I think I got this one more year. And we come to an agreement. But for you to say, babe, I'm done, and then when she leaves, you call back like, nah, I was just playing. I'm coming back. That's not going to work for you. So, and I don't know if y'all ever seen The Color Purple or not, but when Whoopi Goldberg held her hands up like, until you do right by me, oh, no, Tom, hey, it's over with, bro. The best thing he can do is go ahead and let it go right now, because I got Lil Birdie said last night after the game, everybody was showering with their clothes on. Tom's still sitting there with his uniform on at his locker. Oh, yeah, it's not going to be good.
Look,
Watch some news in a little bit.
I said yesterday, we were watching with a couple of folks, and the lady friend asked me, like, what's wrong with Tom Brady? And I said, I'll tell you what I think it was. I think Brady thought, it's going to tick Giselle off if I play, but if I play and we go out and we win a Super Bowl and I get to ride off into the sunset, I think she might come around. Not only is dude not even close to being en route to a Super Bowl, but he just effectively lost his marriage to come back to a 3-5 team that sucks. You know what I mean? Like, if he came back and the Bucks are 8-0 and he's playing great ball, he probably is in a better spot and looks better than he does right now. But he gambled his marriage on one more run at a Lombardi, and he came back to a very mid team.
Very mid team. Like, this is. I tell you what, if I'm a defensive end or anybody on defense, I want to get the biggest slobber knocker, doggone snot bubble hit on him that I could get. Like, they probably gonna call it, but I don't care. I'm gonna get him. Oh, I want him.
Lonzo.
Like, that's like when Brett Favre was on his way out. Man, defensive lineman teed off on Brett Favre. Hey, man, it's Tom Brady's time, and I'm going to love to see it. Like, everybody wants to still put him as the GOAT. No, he still ain't the GOAT. I mean, he got his rings, he got them, but Joe Montana, he's still hard to beat.
Well,
We'll
be having that conversation. Kev, good to talk to you, brother. Appreciate you checking in. We'll have that conversation for a very long time once he calls it a career, which might be
By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, and I think because of the backlash of the penalty that Tom Brady got earlier in the year for roughing,
not roughing the passer.
for roughing, he got tore up a couple times last night, and they didn't call it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, they're 3-5, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
It's still Tom Brady. It's still Tom Brady.
Let's get Warner in here real quick. Wants to talk a little bit about the college game day conversation we were having earlier. Warner, welcome to the show, bud. Great to have you.
Hey, I agree. It just got old, and the snippets that they give are so short, they don't really give anything conclusive about any team. It's just gotten haphazard almost.
So you think it's kind of gotten to the point where they just skim over a bunch of stuff instead of getting into the meat and potatoes like they used to do?
Exactly. It used to be really fun. You get up and they really spend a lot of time with the games that were going to be exciting and what was going on. And I don't know if there's not as many exciting games or if they just, they're just focused on too many things, but you just don't see much that's interesting on it.
Yeah, that's a really interesting take, Warner. And I thought about that last week when they were making their picks, because they make like 10 picks or whatever it is. And like the first 6, I'm like, why are we picking this game? Literally 100% of people are going to go with the ranked team playing the unranked. And then when they got to the couple of games that were interesting and it was time to break them down, you get Dez who would step in and say something like, well, their defense is really good, and I just think they got enough to get to the quarterback. Give me the Beavers. And I'm like, that's the analysis I'm getting here. Like, I genuinely, Warner, had the thought last week of maybe we should do a Fan Upstate college game day style show, because then we could put more time into some of these games. It's interesting you said that, because I had that same thought on Saturday.
Well, that's a great thought. I think that'd be a lot more fun. I suspect that ESPN is trying to promote a whole lot of different games to get their viewership up across the board, rather than just, the ones that actually people want to see.
That's fair. That's fair. Warren, appreciate the phone call, man. Great to have you on the show. You guys are welcome as well. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FAN-FONE, 844-326-3663. That might be a part of it, Zoe, in that they have diluted the product, because, there's 19 ESPN channels all carrying 3 games. So now all of a sudden they got to spend as much time trying to sell me on, the 8th place Pac-12 team versus the 10th place Big Ten team. And it's like, dude, nobody cares. Like, let's get to the good college football that we care about. Or, give me time. Explain to me why Florida's so bad, right? Explain. Instead of trying to hype me up for Florida, Georgia, like it's going to be a contest, because it's not. Why don't we talk about the interesting part, which is, why is Florida so bad? And I think maybe they bring a little more substance to the table.
Well, this comes down to the higher ups and the people in charge and the people who are out there trying to figure out what's hitting now and all that kind of stuff. The best move they made was bringing in McAfee. That's a really good move. It is. Can they keep him for more than one season? Also a good move, putting him on opposite the big game of the week, doing his Manning cast thing. That's a good idea, but that's going to be over diluted soon, because LeBron's going to start doing the thing now, and some other people. Oh, is he? It's going to get to the point. Yeah, it was announced last night. Yeah, I believe he's going to be doing the same thing for the primetime game on Thursday nights.
Here's the thing about the.
It's going to get over diluted. It really will. I mean, when something good happens and people are into it, everyone's going to want to repeat because they want a part of the action. I get it.
Here's the thing about the watch along, which, by the way, I'm a big fan of. I love the Manning cast. I've enjoyed McAfee. The thing about the watch along, though, is it can't just be 3 boring dudes on a couch. Like, the Manning one is interesting for 2 reasons. Number one, you got 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks who can break the game down, right? Like, you can watch the regular guys and they're like, okay, safety walks up and this guy. But Peyton can go, okay, the eyes are over here. And the reason the eyes are here is because he's trying to pull this coverage over that way. And as a football guy, I'm like, that's football. Like, that's the X's and O's that even I know football, but like, this is NFL Hall of Fame caliber stuff. But then they also bring on Bill Burr, the comedian last week, who had me rolling. They bring on these Marshawn Lynch, etc. And you're like, damn, this is really funny. McAfee is McAfee. He's always full of gas, which is why it's so good. I like LeBron. I don't have a problem with LeBron. I get some of y'all hate LeBron. I don't hate LeBron. I don't have a problem with it. But LeBron, like, what's the reason to watch LeBron other than he's LeBron watching a Thursday night game? There's nothing for me there.
So I didn't read all the details, but I think it's going to be a barbershop type thing, like they're in the barbershop watching, which could be interesting depending on who's on there with them.
Could be. I mean, but I think that becomes guest-centric, right?
Yeah, but he's also, so's the Manning cast.
I disagree. I could watch Peyton and Eli do a game, just the 2 of them, and be every bit as entertained as when they have on Bill Burr, Barack Obama, whoever else they bring on, which is entertaining and it's fun. But I could watch Peyton and Eli just talk football. What is LeBron bringing as a basketball player to a football game.
He's a big football fan. So I get that. And again, I could have the details wrong. I don't think I do, but I
Also,
could.
by the way, did anybody tell LeBron the Lakers are 0-4? Maybe he should
Didn't they just lose
more?
again, or did they
Did
play
they
again?
jump to 0-5
I
last
thought
night?
I thought they played again.
I'll
think
be
they-
real. I absolutely adore the fact that the Lakers are so bad that even the big stations are like, yeah, we don't need to focus on the Lakers, do we? No, they're 0-4.
Oh, okay.
They lost to
So-
Denver Wednesday. 99-110.
Oh, maybe it's tonight that they're playing. I just already chalked it up as a loss.
You know what the best part about this watch along is going to be? The Lakers are 0-4, and everybody's going to start blaming it on LeBron being distracted like he's not averaging 26 a game.
Yeah, true.
Like he's not threatening a triple-double at 40 years old almost. Oh,
We-
can't believe LeBron's doing this. Y'all, if Russell Westbrook was doing this, I'd have a bigger problem.
By the way, don't mention a college game day type show on the Fan, because then me and you and Diesel and Mark me, you, and Diesel will be in the same room, and Mark will be on StreamYard, and it won't go well because
I don't know.
it just won't go well.
Me and you and Diesel and me and Diesel with a couple of red Solo cups could make a damn fine Saturday morning tailgate show.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's a good idea, because I'll just be nervous the entire time.
If we do it on the stream, we can say whatever we want.
In theory, yes.
That's what McAfee does.
In
And
theory,
he's a millionaire.
you still can't say.
I mean, he already was a millionaire,
still
but now
can't-
he's another millionaire.
You still can't say anything you want.
Let's take a break. Got a text in just a minute ago. It says, Texter says, Fan, this sounds like bleep kissing, but I just started listening 2 weeks ago, and I find myself weirdly listening every day. I work loading gravel into dump trucks. Your poop talk helps the day go by faster.
Another member of the Armada,
The Armada grows. That is
the
from
working class.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know who that's from? That's from Kevin. Kevin, the Believers fan, the JA17 MVP guy, said he found us 2 weeks ago, and he's been committed while loading dump trucks ever since. Welcome to the Armada, Kevin. We are super glad to have you, buddy. We're also super off the clock. We should take a break on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Hi, world.
All right, guys. Got a live read. Stay right here. Be right back. My Twitter account just gave me my who to follow suggestions. Afrin and Pedialyte. So I guess I'm having a big weekend.
All right. I know what Pedialyte is for real, and I also know I've heard the other thing, but I don't know what. So Afrin is what? Aspirin?
Headache, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I just didn't know if that was a combination. So that's just a hangover cure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a yes. Afrin, Pedialyte, and Gatorade is your best friend after you've tied on a couple.
Once you get one, things just the outlook just becomes, just see different things start to happen, and the opportunities start to be there.
I'm Kristen Balboni from the Carolina Panthers. Super Quebec QL. College football has reached the tough sledding phase where finding winners is incredibly difficult. That's why a team like the Tennessee Volunteers are a godsend. The Volunteers have not only beaten Alabama.
Still got to find one more thing, but I think I've got all my walls taken care of except for one side wall.
They are 12-point favorites at Kentucky, and even though the Wildcats are a really good team, this is Tennessee's year. Take the balls and the points.
Also bought another desk, a cheap one that's wider.
You work remote.
Not your $100 internet desk.
Office decor to turn my finished basement
No.
into a complete workspace solution.
Staples has you covered.
A desk that's all business. But
Steven would like to announce that he is not a bot.
With remote workspace solutions. And now at Staples, save 25% on all desks, storage, and
Yeah, I know, because bots wouldn't have got me back in the box yesterday, Steven. Actually, no, they probably would.
This has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $6,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get from you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP.
Roger said, if you think game day is bad now with pushing ESPN propaganda, wait till the B1G is no longer on ESPN channels. ESPN will be saying the Southern Conference is better than the Big Ten.
This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
At Moe's Southwest Grill, we know everyone is a
By the way, Steven, not ignoring that. I mean,
Yeah, we'll come back around to that. I feel like we've done a lot of Brady on the show today.
so need some radio advice here. So a couple of years ago, we did a bit with Zombie Skittles.
Yep.
But none of the guys that are in the studio with me now have ever done it. I'm thinking of bringing it back, but we've already done it. So I don't know if I want to. I mean, it's kind of repeating.
So did you do it where you all ate a bag, or did you like rush in?
No, we ate the whole
You all
bag.
ate a bag?
So we
Like
knew.
one bag between all of you?
No. They're mini bags.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So there's like 5 in them.
Yeah.
So
And everyone has one in there?
or
you don't know?
yeah, you don't know.
Okay.
Oh, we all got one, and mine was the very last one. So it's like knowing something is painful, but you want to watch other people go through it too, just for shared experience. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I might do it.
You know, there comes a point where you're like, okay, I think we've probably outstayed our welcome on this, and you move on from that topic. And then sometimes you do that, and then that topic breaks something new, and you got to go back to it. Tom and Giselle are officially filing their divorce paperwork today. Now, ordinarily, People Magazine, TMZ type stuff about celebrity news is not something I really want or am interested in putting on the show.
Yeah, because I saw it earlier. I didn't want to hit breaking news on that. It's still a family being broken up.
It is, and it is tragically sad. You hate it, right? I really do. I hate it for both of them. I certainly, and maybe more so, hate it for their kids. No doubt about that. But as we talked about earlier in the show, we'd be lying if we didn't say Tom Brady looks terrible right now, right? And I'm not talking about just as a football player, where he does look bad as a quarterback right now. He just looks bad, like as a person, as a human. He just looks bad. He looks ill. I think we got to remember Tom Brady's 40 damn years old, and Father Time remains undefeated right now. But
45?
I don't know. I don't know exactly how old Tom Brady is. Let's see. Tom Brady's 40. You're right, 45. Father Time remains undefeated. That's the point, right? At some point, Tom Brady's going to start looking older. There's nobody that wins that fight except George Clooney. But he looks sick. We were at Warehouse at Midtown yesterday. They put Brady on the screen, and the lady from was there, and she's like, "What's wrong with Tom Brady? Is he sick?" I think this away from the field stuff, combined with the fact that he very much gambled his marriage to come back and play football, he has now lost his marriage, and he's losing more football games than he's winning at this point, right? I absolutely think it is taking a toll on him, and you can physically see it now. So anyway, we'll see if finishing that segment of his life maybe brings Brady at least some element of peace where he can play football and once again take advantage of a division where, as we all predicted, Carolina and Atlanta are playing for a division lead on Sunday. But if Carolina beats Atlanta and the Saints beat the Raiders on Sunday, the whole division will be 3-5.
It's, here's what it is. It's uber competitiveness. And, they're just beating up on each other. And that's the reason why that's like that. Yeah.
That logic is that logic works for the SEC, but not the NFC South.
Why?
Just does, man. I don't make the rules.
Okay.
I don't make the rules. Let's take a break.
Hey, before we go to break, can we go to break on a positive note? Can we give away some tickets?
You're dadgum right we can, Lonzo.
Let's give away some tickets.
How about we give away a pair of tickets to tomorrow's game, Furman at home taking on Chattanooga. But you are not just winning a pair of tickets to Furman versus Chattanooga for free tomorrow at 2:00. Your name is also being entered into our grand prize drawing, the winner of which will get the full VIP treatment tomorrow at Furman taking on Chattanooga. You will be brought out onto the field pregame. You can watch the early portion of the game. Then when you're ready, you can be escorted up to the president's box where you will watch the second half or as much as you want of it in luxury. It is an incredible experience, and it's your chance to win right now. Let's go caller number.
Let's go 3 in honor of the max wins in the NFC South right now.
Caller number 3 in honor of the most wins in the division right now. Caller number 3 to 844-326-3663 is getting 2 tickets to the Furman hosting Chattanooga game tomorrow. And your name will be entered into the grand prize drawing for a VIP experience at the game tomorrow. Caller number 3 right this second is going to win those 2 tickets and have your name entered into the grand prize drawing for the VIP experience. 844-326-3663. Caller number 3 will get those tickets. Let's take our break. When we come back, my man Kevin Thomas from the Moving the Chains podcast is going to join us on the program. We will break down the final week of the regular season in high school football around the state. That's next on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, hold tight. We shall be right back.
A full bank of phones.
least 2 months since your primary series or booster.
So if you just happen to be watching the stream and you're also trying to call win the tickets, we've already given them away. So better luck next time. And thanks for participating. That's a good suggestion, Trey. We have some of those sort of things, but we also, because we stream, there are certain musics that we can't play, or we could, you just can't hear it. And so I have to be selective with that because of that. There might be something that sounds similar, and I might look into that.
Kevin, what's up, homeboy? Oh,
what's going on, buddy?
There he is. Good, man.
Good?
He's delayed.
I played Secret Cowboy again last night, Lonzo.
Yeah, I saw a picture. I figured you were going to some sort of country concert.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. So you're saying you only go to country concerts with Kevin?
No, I go with Courtney because Kevin happens to be there.
Okay. All right.
I would invite you, but you would say no.
Yeah, right. For sure I would. I'm also a recluse. I'm old and I don't, like people. Yeah.
Like people.
Yeah, so there's that. What wonderful country concert did you go to last night?
Luke Bryan. It was good. I'm going to say this, though, Kev. If Luke Bryan can be a country music star, I'm not giving up on my dreams. I practiced guitar when I got home last night. I'm like, I think I can still do it.
Hey, I think he's like 45, 46. So we
I
got some years to go still.
If I just up and move to Nashville, y'all know why now.
You're already letting your hair grow. Look out. Hey, real quick. For those of you still calling for the contest, we've already got a winner. Congratulations to Sherry, and thanks to everybody for filling up those phone banks trying to win those Furman tickets. We appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. Sherry gets 2 tickets, and her name is entered into the drawing for the VIP prize. And I'm not telling you that you should make sure you're paying attention, but we've done this twice so far, and both winners of the grand prize have come from this show. All right, we're undefeated. I'm just saying, if you win the tickets on this show, for whatever reason, your odds of winning the grand prize go up. All right? Pay attention.
And if you are watching on stream on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Twitch for this entire segment, I'm just going to stare at Rob's picture.
I look good. What do you want?
Look
I
at
look
it.
handsome.
It's almost like he's staring into my soul.
Let us talk a little high school football, shall we? My man Kevin from the Moving the Chains podcast is here. Kevin Thomas joins us. You can find their stuff at movingchains.com or across the social medias. The handle Moving Chains, no G, Moving Chains, as well as their post-game Twitter spaces. The logo was over my actual face, Lonzo.
I'll put the picture
Over
back
my
up. I do
actual
have
face.
that. No, well, you're okay. Fine.
Yeah, I know. Kevin, what's up, big dog?
What's going on, man? Super pumped to wrap up the season tonight with some region titles and some big games here on the slate.
Yes, indeed. I like it, man. Let's just jump straight in because we got a lot of them to run through. And once again, as always, because I'm a homer, let's start with the team that has the most handsome play-by-play guy in all of America, Burns, back home. They are 6-3. They will be hosting Gaffney at 6-2. Now, Gaffney has already wrapped up the region. They knocked off Dorman 41-29 last week. Of course, Burns was on the bye last week, coming off of a heartbreaker where they had a 44-yard field goal, basically got walked off by Dorman in what I thought was a phenomenal game at Dorman. The law of, the transitive law of football is a dangerous one to fall into, Kev. Do the Rebels have a chance tonight? Dorman ran the ball well against them. Gaffney put up 349 on the ground against that same Dorman team the very next week. The transitive law of football would say that Burns is in trouble tonight, but what can they do to win this game?
They got to have explosive plays. That was something early in the year. We saw Kai Cook or Bomar or Weaver. One of them, if not more, was breaking a 70-plus yard touchdown every game. That's kind of gone away the last few weeks. And this Burns team against this Gaffney defense won't be able to just sustain drives and make 7, 8, 9, 10 play drives all night long. They're going to have to break some big ones. Luckily with the bye week, they should be a little bit healthier here late in the year. Gaffney Burns, always a super fun rivalry game, one of the best around, no doubt about it. Indians and Rebels have a great time every time they get together. Gaffney, it could be kind of a letdown spot for them. They've already wrapped up the region here, not really playing for anything this week except for just pride. But I still think the Indians have a little too much firepower. But the Rebels got a chance, though. They certainly do.
Talk to me about I know Lonzo's asked me about it, and the way that the playoff format in South Carolina's runs kind of interesting. What are the implications here for a Burns win? Obviously, Gaffney's already wrapped up the region, so probably not as important for them. But if Burns was to pull the upset here, what are the playoff implications?
Yeah, so Gaffney's already locked in for the 1 seed there, so they'll be at home, I think, through probably all the way into the state championship right now because they're on the 1 line. If Burns wins, I think they're already actually stuck in that 4 seed. Right now, it looks like Spartanburg Dorman playing for second tonight. The loser of that should fall to third, and they'll have the head-to-head win. Either one of those teams will over Burns. So I think the Rebels are stuck in that 4 slot heading on the road next week. So it's more of just kind of a confidence builder for those guys. No real line moving, I guess, but certainly still want to get a win.
All right, let's talk about a couple of other games on the slate. Southside Christian 5-3 there at Christ Church, who is 8-1, and this one is for a regional trophy.
These are probably the 2 best teams in 1A, Rob. 2 really good squads here. Southside Christian is on a roll. They lost 3 in a row to start the year, have won 5 in a row now. Defense is allowing 5 points per game in those wins. They are just getting it done on both sides of the ball. Quarterback Ja'Cory Martin's a really good player, along with Kyler Zimmerman, kind of doing the running game for them. Christ Church has a running back, Deshaun Reeder. I think he's been one of you guys' players a couple weeks ago. He was one of ours this week. 18 for 203, 4 touchdowns last week. Woods Wyndham, 10 for 11, 206, 2 touchdowns. They beat a very good St. Joe's team, 60-14, a score that I did not see coming. I like Reeder a lot. I think they're a little too much up front for Southside Christian. They've lost some stuff on defensive line for what they had in the past years. I like the Cavaliers here in a close one. This is a classic ball game, a big-time matchup here in Greenville.
All right, Hillcrest is at JLMN. This is an interesting one. Hillcrest was a team that I know you guys had mentioned. A couple of other outlets had called Hillcrest potentially one of the better teams in the state early in the season. They are at JLMN tonight, and this is for second in the region, but it's also for a home game, which might be more important to open the playoffs.
Yeah, Rams kind of stubbed their toe a couple weeks ago against TL Hanna, a game where they just shot themselves in the foot. Time for time, has some injuries there and whatnot. But quarterback Bennett Judy's back. He played last week. That team is still one of the best in the state. They're going to finish on the 2 line there, having to go on the road after their first or second round there. I think they win against JLMN. Coach Watson's doing a good job there building that program up. They've got a pretty good offense this year, can put up some points with Ethan Anderson. But the Rams, just too much talent and firepower with Coldren, Judy, Neal, McFadden, and all those other guys out there.
All right, let's take a look at Greenville at Easley. I believe your notes might as well just say take the over in this one.
Yes, Greenville is averaging, I think, 50-plus on the year. They've had multiple 60-plus games the last few weeks. The offense is humming right now. Bryson Drummond at quarterback's getting it done. Receivers, Mazio, Bennett, Tyler Brown. Bennett just committed to Tennessee about 2 weeks ago there. Running backs Pepper and Sherman getting it done. Easily, freshman quarterback Caleb Sutton is going to be a guy to watch the next couple years. He's a star already. Really doing a great job for Coach Dura there for the Green Wave. Greenville, a little too much firepower, but like you're saying, Rob, we could see a 50-30 type game, 50-40 type game. Should be a lot of fireworks over there at Easley.
Malden Woodmount. I mean, the only thing better than 2 teams playing for a regional title or a playoff home spot is 2 teams playing to get into the playoffs. Malden Woodmont. Talk to me about that one.
Both teams have had a rough year. Malden, I think, is on a 7-game losing streak, something like that. Woodmont started off a little bit better and kind of struggled down the stretch here. What's funny about this game, Rob, is that, neither one of these teams have had any success in the region. But I got a feeling that Malden, if they can get into playoffs, they could be trouble for somebody in the first round. They've got a really good running attack, a pretty solid defense there. I think the Mavericks win this one on the road to sneak in that 4th spot there in the playoffs.
All right, and we'll wrap it up. Spartanburg at Dorman. I have been told, and obviously have not gotten to get to one of these games yet, but I've been told Spartanburg versus Dorman sometimes has like a college football level feel to it. Both of those teams playing in college football caliber facilities. Spartanburg is 5-4. But that is a good team. They knocked off Burns a few weeks ago. They have had some real tough competition and a couple of stumbles. The Dorman Cavaliers, on the other hand, 8-1, but they did lose to Gaffney in a big way, 41-29. Is this one going to be as hyped up as folks are trying to make me believe it is?
This should be a really good football game. You know, Spartanburg, they've got 4 losses, but really it's just a pretty good competition. They lost to Gaffney in overtime. They lost to 2 big schools out of Georgia early in the year. They lost to Dutch Fork, the number 1 team in the state, by I think a point or 2 points earlier this season. Led by quarterback Raheem Jeter, just got announced as the Mr. Football finalist this week. He's a really good player. You saw him firsthand, Rob. He can get the job done there running and throwing. The running backs, Dreek Carter, Raheath Kelly, a super good freshman running back there, the Kelly kid is. Wide receiver Andrew Danton. That's a good football team no matter what their record says. Dorman, they're trying to figure things out. You know, they had started off with Hayden Talley there at quarterback. Had kind of some struggles. They went a little more of a wildcat last week against Gaffney and actually let DJ Porter not only run but throw the ball a good bit. So they're kind of going that direction now. It seems like they've got the firepower up front, of course, with Geth Anderson and those guys. They play with fire lately. You know, had a tough game against Burns, tough game against Malden, kind of didn't play up to their expectations. Bit them in the butt last week. Gaffney took care of them pretty easily there. This will be a fun ball game. I like the Cavaliers at home, but should be a very tight one over in Spartanburg.
Looking forward to it. Kevin Thomas is one of the hosts of the Moving the Chains podcast. You can find their stuff at movingchains.com and hit us up in the Twitter spaces. After the games go final, I'll be popping by as well as coaches and players from teams around the state. My man, good to see you, Brig Dog. We appreciate it. And we'll talk some playoff football next week.
Can't wait, Rob. Appreciate you, buddy.
You got it. As always, Kevin Thomas. Again, follow them on all the social media at Movin' Chains. No G, at Movin' Chains, and their Twitter spaces at the post game tonight. We're back after this to wrap this bad boy up with our Boo Box Bets picks next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, big dog. Appreciate you.
Thank you, buddy. Did you guys have a tie last week in the bets?
Hang on 1 second. Say that again.
Did y'all have a tie last week, or who won the bets last week?
No, Lonzo lost. He had his best week of the year, went 7-3. Rob Brown went 8-2 and got him 5-0 in college ball.
I had an exemption though, and I used it.
Right, but I gave him as a birthday gift a while back a 1 punishment exemption. The punishment he drew was to wear a University of Michigan t-shirt for a whole show, and he decided to use the birthday exemption there. So I suspect Lonzo's coming for blood in the picks this week.
I like it.
No, I'm not. I don't know what I'm doing. If I knew how to beat him, he would have already been beat.
7-3 in Vegas, you would be a god at 7-3.
Yeah, I still lost.
Oh, man. All right. Appreciate you, fellas.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
See ya. And sending you something on Twitter, which I'm sure you will want for, it's not there yet. It should be there in a second, that I'm sure you'll want for Christmas. Without a doubt. Something I definitely will be talking about tomorrow, probably.
We are CBS Sports Radio, and our Twitter handle is @CBS Sports Radio.
It's something Batman related.
That hasn't come through yet.
Come on, Elon. Quit slowing things down. Let's go.
Come on, Elon. Wow. Wow.
It's intriguing, isn't it?
I would give it a run. A Batman cologne and aftershave. You know, obviously a good chunk of my life and decor revolves around my nerdy habits and preferences. I don't know that my choice in cologne would.
I don't know where
also
I
don't
don't wear it. It
what-
attracts bears in the woods, and I can't. Yeah. The bow tie, though, there's a bow tie with it. You can rock that bow tie. Is cologne still a thing? Are you still rocking?
Oh, I still wear cologne.
You still rocking the Axe body spray?
No, I do not, and never have rocked the Axe body spray.
Well, it came out when you were in your formative
Yeah, and even
years.
then, I was like, no.
Really? Not
Yeah.
even, you're not thinking, that cheerleader looks fine. If I had some Axe
If
going
only I
on.
had some Axe body spray, I
So,
could probably land
so
it.
you're saying it's a clever marketing ploy and Axe doesn't work?
It always was.
Back in my day, we had high karate.
I will tell you what, if you wanted the lead cheerleader, you did rock the 2 colognes, and I genuinely still own and utilize a bottle of each. Cool Water and Hilfiger. If you had on Cool Water or Hilfiger, you absolutely could talk to the girls.
Okay.
And any dude that is paying attention right now that is in their early to mid 30s, I guarantee you at some point wore Hilfiger or Cool Water. And I only know that because after the lockdowns got lifted and Courtney and I decided to go on like our first actual outside date, I went to pick her up and I put on Hilfiger because it was the only bottle of cologne that I had in my bathroom at the time. And I'm like, well, I got to put on something. So I put on Hilfiger and I showed up and she was like, you smell like high school right now. And I was like, do you hate it? And she's like, no, it smells great. I love it.
Trey says he bought some Spider-Man cologne from Ross. The black version actually smells decent. Okay.
Does it make you smell like you have great power and responsibility?
Does it smell like bugs? See, that's the thing. What's Spider-Man colognes? Just like the Batman. What's Batman cologne supposed to? Batman cologne should smell expensive.
Like musk. It should smell like.
Batman cologne should smell very, very expensive and like bats.
Well, what does expensive smell like?
I don't know. You
Neither
tell
do I.
me. You're the 1%er. I don't know.
I like that joke has taken on such a life of its own that now
Yeah, me too.
you can know the smell of money.
I think money does have a smell. Or
Like physical money has a smell. I mean like the smell of someone who has money.
oh, so you're saying someone doesn't walk in the room and you're like, yeah, that guy, he's got money. Or that girl, she's got money just by the smell.
I mean, I either smell cologne or I don't.
It smells really nice downstairs. That's all I'm saying.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, is on the other side of the metaphorical glass in charge of the radio broadcast today. If you'd like to be a part of the program, now's your opportunity. 844-326-3663. 844-FANFONE. Or shoot us a text message on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. If you would like to get your thoughts heard on the air. If you do text us, we will read it on the air if it's good enough. 71307.
Hey, they're all good. Just some of them are FCC violations.
One thing. Oh, we have a. Do we have? We got another Kevin texting on the show saying they're new and listening to the show. Got a bunch of it's a Kevin day. Got a bunch of Kevins.
And we just interviewed Kevin.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I mean, Kevins are everywhere. And there's nothing wrong with that. We love Kevin.
Texture says the fan. Rob Lowe is winning the fight with Father Time. Rob Lowe and Paul Rudd are both winning. Paul Rudd looks younger today than he did when he was dating Phoebe. He was on Friends. He was a character on Friends that dated Phoebe.
Dude, I watched Friends.
Live,
okay?
like when it was on?
Yes, when it was on. For the first couple seasons, then like what we talked about earlier, it just kind of got stale and old, and
It happens.
But Smelly Cat is still an awesome song.
Let's see. Texture says Eli Manning looks sleepy as hell the whole show. That's just Eli's face. He can't do anything about it. Leave Eli alone.
Have you seen him on the sidelines during a game with his mouth open? That's just what he looks like. That's just what he looks like.
Leave Eli. Listen, some of us are just born with faces that look like they look. We can't do anything about it. All right.
Yeah, but his sleepy look makes everyone forget about Peyton's huge forehead.
Dude. What Bill Burr? Bill Burr had a line about Peyton's forehead last week. That was hilarious. I was watching the other day on Instagram Reels. Popped up a line where Pete Davidson said, Peyton Manning is what it will look like when football players evolve to no longer need helmets. Such a moment. Such a moment. All right, third hour of the show, and you know what that means. It is time to get into our Boo Box Bets picks.
I don't want to.
You don't have to.
I kind of do. I mean,
have to.
no, I committed to something, and yes, I do, because it's what, when a man commits to something.
I have given you the opportunity to take the out if you want it. And you said preseason 5 L's and you're out.
Yeah, but then you're going to go to the audience and have the audience vote. And if we were to do that method, the audience is going to vote for you, but I want to be in the running to be voted for. So it's proof that they voted for you to hit the box over me. So it's all about my ego.
Well, I was going to let them pick the games. And if the listeners beat me, I would go to the Boo Box. But if they did not, then I would just avoid it.
So that would be in my reasoning. If you allow them to pick the games, that's saying that when you pick the games, it's a work, and you already know that you're going to win because you picked certain games where you go, okay, Lonzo will pick this out of emotion. Lonzo will pick this because he's a Big Ten homer. Lonzo will do this here, and I can get him again because you're the heel of the program.
Anyway,
where's your diamond ring?
Conspiracy theories aside, let's get to our picks.
You have the scarf. I've seen it.
I do. That is actually true. I do. All right, Lonzo, I will let you pick it.
No,
Laces or spaces?
You pick it.
All right, I'm not looking then. I'm going to go spaces. Can you see over my shoulder? Can you see? Okay.
No.
I went spaces. It is laces. You win. You may, as always, pick first or defer. You have the games.
I'm going to do as they say down there in Charleston. I'm going to defer.
Deferring to the second half. So I will pick first. We open. The Florida State Seminoles are at home. They welcome in the Georgia Tech Ramblin' Wreck. The Yellow Jackets have been nothing shy of atrocious this year. And that is why, despite coming off of a 3-game losing streak, but all 3 were to top 15 teams for Florida State, they are minus 24 on the line. They got to beat the Tech by 24 or better. It is a push available game at 24. Jeff Sims, starting quarterback for Georgia Tech, is likely out for this game, which would be, very, very bad for them. Florida State's offense, when Jordan Travis is on the field, is actually pretty good. 34th in success rate overall on the season, but it is 8th in PFF rushing grade on the year. The Noles run this ball up and down the field, and every now and then they turn it loose on Georgia Tech. Zoe, I hate spreads of 24 in football, except when I don't. Give me the Noles minus 24 in this one.
Wow. trying to think of all the ways I can go on this, trying to make educated guesses. Florida State hasn't looked bad. They haven't. They just keep losing. Can they win by that much on Georgia Tech? Yes, they can. I'm going to go with Florida State. Also.
Florida State minus 24 as well. You deferred, which means you go second here, and the second game.
No, I went second there. That means I go first.
Oh, you go. Well, that's what I meant. Like you
Yes,
go
okay.
first, second.
All right, so I get why I'm conflicted because I keep embarrassing my wife. So I mean, you don't have that problem. I do, and it's by the way.
Oh no,
this
I
is not.
definitely embarrass my girlfriend daily,
But
just not this.
This is not a bit. She legitimately has asked me, "Why can't you do better?" And I'm trying. I really am.
All right, we'll do better with this. Your Buckeyes on the road at Penn State are minus 15.5. No push available on this one, but it is a day game. No whiteout that the Buckeyes have to suffer through. Minus 15.5, Lonzo.
All right. So, and I don't recall there being some sort of emotional thing going on at Penn State because that usually messes Ohio State up too. And I made the mistake last week, which cost me. It cost me.
You'd have picked your team. You'd have been a draw.
Yeah, it would have been a draw. And I didn't because they hadn't scored over 30 all week or all year. And they did that by a bunch last week. I got to think that they still are going to try to win by as many points as they possibly can. I don't think Penn State's defense is as good as Iowa was. Iowa's defense was really good, especially in the first half. And then Ohio State started to pull away. Penn State got beat down by Michigan. Ohio State's going to look at this. We need style points for the CFP. We also do not want to beat them by less than what Michigan did. So I'm going with the Buckeyes.
Going with the Buckeyes. This might be a boring week of picks because listen, we've already seen Penn State against a top-tier Big Ten team. Michigan, they got smoked. And I think Ohio State is even better. Even at Penn State, Lonzo pointed out a minute ago, the Buckeyes want to show style points. I don't think they need it. Undefeated plus a Michigan win. You're definitely in. But you're playing Georgia for that number 1 seed.
They're also starting to get more votes. And I don't know what that really means with the CFP, but maybe they look at it and see, they're starting to get more AP first place votes and more every week. So you got to do that just for that reason.
I don't disagree with you at all in that one. So then we move on to game number 3. This game is going to be taking place in America's armpit of Jacksonville, Florida, ladies and gentlemen, where the Florida Gators take on the Georgia Bulldogs. The Dogs are favored at minus 22.5 points in this one. Let me say this. We're not supposed to call it the world's largest outdoor cocktail party anymore, but Florida fans are going to need all the cocktails. Give me the Dogs minus 22.5. And I got to tell you, this is actually one of my more confident picks of the week.
All right. So obviously I could care less about political correctness, but I do need some help with this. Why is it no longer called that? I don't drink, but I know that there are a lot of people who do. Why is that name been eliminated?
Because for a number of years in Jacksonville, where there is nothing to do except drink, and sometimes you must to get through the existential existence of living in the world's worst city, you had a lot of kids who were being college kids and were going bananas on the banana liqueur down there. And you started to have some problems. And so they thought by branding it away from an event that sounds like a good drinking event, they would stop that. As if, yes, the college students showed up and drank because it was called a cocktail party. I'm sure it fixed everything, by the way.
Yeah, I just definitely see the logic in that. I'm also going with Georgia.
Georgia minus 22.5 over the Gators. Mizzou is at South Carolina. The Gamecocks are favored in this one. They are minus 3.5. They have lost to Mizzou 3 straight times at this point, including a heartbreaker on the road last year at the other Columbia. The Mayor's Trophy is on the line in this one. And I am going, actually, you're up first.
That's why I was pointing them.
Yeah, I got
just
that.
Trying to help you there. So South Carolina looked really good last week in the AP poll for the first time in a while at 25, going up against Missouri. It's only 3.5. I still have my concerns about Spencer Rattler. I don't about the running game, which I think will be big as long as the coaches remember that they can run the ball because they can. So, yeah, I'm going to go with South Carolina.
The Tigers have dropped 3 different conference games by a single score at this point. Shane Beamer and his Gamecocks are 5-2 with wins over UK and A&M, and as Zoe mentioned, a spot inside the AP top 25. But Beamer and his Gamecocks have figured out their identity, which was the biggest question that we had in this one. And what is that identity? It is the Richard Sherman identity. Run the goddamn football! And the Gamecocks will, because Marshawn Lloyd is that dude. I'm taking the under in this game. Which, if I recall correctly, is set at, let me go grab that line. The over-under on this game is set at 46.5, and I'm still taking the under, but they only got to win by 4. And I think they do. Give me the Gamecocks. We are both taking cocky at minus 3.5, and we wrap up our college football picks. Kentucky gets healthy, but they got to go to Tennessee and take on the Volunteers, the High Flyers of Hendon Hooker and co. The Vols are minus 12 against the Kentucky team that has lost a bad one or two, but have also been banged up. They are back to fully healthy, but they go to Tennessee. Rocky Top, you will always be.
You went out of turn, but that's fine.
Did I?
It was my turn. It's okay.
You went first with USC.
No.
It doesn't matter. I'm taking Tennessee whether I go first or second.
Yeah, in the end, so am I, because I'm just trying to remember what that climate change versus style change thing.
Culture change. Climate change versus culture change.
Yeah. I couldn't remember exactly what it was. Sunglasses were involved somewhere. Kentucky was overhyped at the beginning of the year. Tennessee, who we've made fun of for years, they are back. Good for them. I know a lot of Tennessee people, and they're good people. I can't stand that song, especially if a team that I like's playing them and I hear it constantly over and over again. But yeah, Tennessee's got this.
All right. So
they're also going for style points too.
Our Boo Box Bets punishment will not be dictated by college football, as we have agreed on all 5. Georgia Tech at Florida State, FSU minus 24. We both take the Noles. OSU, the Buckeyes, minus 15.5 at Penn State. We both take the Scarlet and Gray. Florida and Georgia in Jacksonville. The loser of this game is everybody who goes to it, but we're both taking the Bulldogs minus 22.5. We both got the Gamecocks minus 3.5 hosting Mizzou, and we both got the Volunteers minus 12 up over Kentucky. Let us head to the National Football League, where we open in London bright and early on Sunday morning. The Jacksonville Jaguars, soon to be the London Jaguars, because even the football team wants to leave Jacksonville, are hosting Russell High Knees on an Airplane Wilson. The Jags, Lonzo, are favored by 2.5 in this one. Let's see. I'm going to do Rob, Lonzo. You're actually up first on this one. That being said,
that doesn't make no sense. I'll go first. If it's my turn, I'll go first. I have no problem with that. I will definitely go first. All you Russell Wilson people. I told you. I
wouldn't love anything as much as Lonzo loves crapping on old quarterbacks.
It's
anything.
When he was young, I was saying the same thing.
Glory days.
Yes, I've been here for a minute, and I've been saying it for that long.
Been here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going with my brother in hair and going with Jacksonville.
Already had mine typed down. Give me TL. Give me Travis. Give me the Jags. They want to go to London, and they want to put on a show so that when they move this team to London in a couple of years, they've already got some fans because they went there and beat up.
Stop
on
with the
Mile
moving
Highlanders.
thing. They're not moving.
They're
Going to do. They would have already done that.
Texter said the booty man, Russell Wilson. Sir, Russell wouldn't speak like that. All right, Russell wouldn't call himself that.
Don't be critical of how polite he is. He can't play football, but he's
critical of him because he's a dork. But that's also why I want to be friends with
He
him.
appears to be a good dude. He's very organized, and he just. I mean,
I never said he wasn't.
Okay, all right.
I just said if you do high knees on an airplane, you deserve to be thrown out of the airplane. That's all. That's all I've said.
I'm just thinking, could I do high knees and not die? I don't know.
Dude, your knees pop when you stand up too fast.
Yeah, but that's because I have a reconstructed knee. It's going to do that.
Chicago's at Dallas. The Cowboys trying to prove they are for real. They take on the Bears. And the Cowboys are -9.5 at the house. -9.5. I am going Chicago to cover this one up. No Zeke for the boys this weekend. Some Cowboys fans will tell you they're actually better.
Yeah, that's
without
not.
Zeke.
I was going to say, and I'm wearing a Buckeye shirt, so I should be pro Zeke, which I am. But
just not right now.
Well, no, he hasn't been that good.
He really hasn't. But he's been a consistent 2.5, 3 yards.
You should
guy.
bring back the crop tops. I know you got to pay some fines, but you'd run better.
Without Zeke, you get a few more struggles on thirds and short. You give a couple of extra possessions to the Bears. Give me the Bears +9.5.
The line bothers me. It does. I mean, I would root for Justin Fields because again, that's what you do when you're not a fan of either team. You look for the team that has the most of your favorite players on it. That line is bothering me, and I could just go everything that Rob picks so I don't lose. I'm gonna go Dallas in this.
Dallas in this one. All right, we have our first game of separation as of right now.
He's elated now. Good, I'm gonna win again.
No, it's good because if we pick the same 10 outcomes,
I don't lose.
I don't want to go into the weekend with it. Is that why you're doing it?
I've tried
your
it.
strategy over there, Mastermind.
That's been my formula for a while. It's never worked out that we've actually picked the same every single time. But I had the opportunity right there. I could have kept it even, but I didn't because I don't trust Chicago.
You're up on this one. The 49ers are -1.5 against the defending Super Bowl champion LA Rams.
So here's where my heart gets in the way. I am going to be a Christian McCaffrey fan no matter where he plays. The dude was
What if he went to Tampa?
The dude was on the sideline if Brady's not there. Then yeah.
Right, but what if Brady is there?
If Brady is there, what's not going to happen? Because your hypothetical doesn't work here because you're not going to get traded twice. I don't think that's ever happened. It might have, but I don't think so. So anyway, last week while the 49ers were playing, McCaffrey had just got there like a day before, was already in the game, and was doing well. He was in there. He was that kid on the sideline by the coach. Just look at me, coach. Remember, I'm here. And he wanted to get in. Now he's got a full week of understanding the plays, and they let go one of their running backs, which is a smart move. You let go of a guy because you just got Christian McCaffrey. This line only 1.5.
Yep.
The Rams are not the Rams they were last year. I'm going San Francisco.
Lonzo's going San Francisco. The Rams are not the Rams that they were before. They're still decent. I'm going LA on this one.
See, now he's just doing it on purpose because he caught my formula. He's going to make sure
that if I wanted it to be, I would just have left it to the one game. This opens us back up for a draw now, right? If I would have just picked the same as you the rest of the rise, it'd have been one game.
All right, I'm not making any sense, but that's fine because my wife's voice is still in the back. Why can't you be better?
Miss Lisa bringing the noise. All right, Green Bay's at Buffalo. Josh Allen, and his Bills are 10.5-point favorites over A-Rod of the Football Persuasion and his what the bleep are we doings out of Green Bay. I believe I bat lead off on this one. I counted it up. I have picked 7 so far this year. 7 NFL favorites that were favored by double-digit points, Lonzo. I am 0-for-7.
See, this is Better's thought. I don't even understand what he's talking about right now.
Meaning when a team is -10 or more, I am 0 for 7 on those picks, but I'm doing it again. Josh Allen and his Bills are going to run Nicolas Cage from Con Air and his Packers into the ground this weekend. Buffalo minus 10.5 is my pick in this one. Josh Allen puts on display why he is the NFL's MVP through this week of the season.
You know, I'm trying to figure out how the Josh Allen thing got an extra Josh Allen, because it should only be 3 Josh Allens.
It's always been 4 for me.
I don't know why. I mean, 3's enough. It's Marsha. It's not Marsha, because then it gets muffled after a while. I feel sorry for Green Bay. I know some people don't. Some people want to see Aaron Rodgers fail. I'm not that guy, but this is for a different reason. Buffalo's defense is for real.
It is.
And Green Bay's offense is not. So yeah, Buffalo's going to win.
All right, look at Lonzo going with Josh Allen. And that brings us to our final game of the day. Carolina is at Atlanta. The Falcons are -4 in this one. Push is available at a 4-point. A 24-20 would earn us a push here, but Carolina is a 4-point underdog on the road at Atlanta. I have told you the 2 wins have come against 2 bad teams in Tampa and New Orleans. I think that is pretty much proven at this point. Atlanta is playing well above their level, but are they good enough to win it by 5 or better, Lonzo?
All right, so we will get into extensive breakdown of this game in the Views from Mint Street podcast, which we'll be putting down, in an hour or so, and you'll be able to download that. So I don't want to go into too much detail because I want you to, get the podcast. But I will say this: for Carolina, we the ones. Atlanta, you the 2s. Give me Carolina.
Taking the Cats on the road is Lonzo. I have kicked this one back and forth.
You're gonna go with your boy Mariota, aren't you?
So many damn
going
times.
with your boy Mariota.
I have gone back and forth on this one so many times, and I'm in my head trying to figure out who I still don't know who I'm gonna pick as of right this very second. This is a game between 2 teams that I genuinely do not know how good they are. I don't. The Falcons have 3 wins against 3 bad teams. The Cats have 2 wins against 2 bad teams. Mariota is having a bit of resurgence, but he's under 1,200 yards. He's got 7 TDs to 4 INTs. He's thrown for over 200 yards in a game only twice. He has 2 multiple touchdown games. As well as he looks right now, it's pedestrian for anybody that wasn't already labeled a bust. But at some point, Kyle Pitts is going to have to break out. Drake London is going to have to break. These guys are going to have to start to break up. The Panthers, on the flip side, have found their identity in running the football at this point. Here's the problem. Atlanta has a really good defense. They're just banged up. But at defensive back, do you trust PJ Walker? That's really the only question at this point. I'm going to get roasted up for this. Atlanta -4. I'm taking the Falcons.
Oh, I feel so much better now. Man, I feel good now. Because how well does Rob do when he bets on Atlanta?
I know.
And how many times has he railed against Atlanta sports or on this here program?
Every time I pick the Falcons in this segment, they burn me. I don't know why the hell I'm doing it, to be honest with you. They've got a good defensive front. No, I'm taking Carolina. I've talked myself out of it.
What?
I've talked myself out of it.
No,
I've talked myself out of it. Atlanta has burned me every time I've picked them. And if they win this game by 5 or better, I'm going to flip a table Sunday afternoon. I'm going to be furious if Atlanta wins this game by 5 or better. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Well, that backfired on me, didn't it? Or did it?
Shouldn't have said anything. I'd have stuck Atlanta.
So what does that mean? We have 2 things differently?
We have no college games different. We have 1, 2. Yeah. Our whole thing comes down to Chicago at Dallas and San Francisco at LA.
Go McCaffrey. You got the CMC. Forgot to check and see if Boza was healthy.
Yes.
That helps. Did he say the Clemson fans have voted while he's talking about South Carolina? Did I hear that right?
That is,
Did I hear that right?
that's what I.
What? I got to go back and listen to that later and make sure that I heard that right. Yes, you are.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay.
It is ironic, James. The thing is, if they would have kept Christian McCaffrey and used that same formula, they would have still won. I mean, I've been screaming all along that he wasn't getting the ball enough. And it really wasn't about just him not getting the ball enough. It's they weren't running the ball enough. Know where your strengths are, and they're a running team. I think classically the Panthers have been a running team. And a running team, a team that runs well, benefits a really good defense, which is what the Panthers have. As a running team, you're on the field longer, taking off more clock, and that's less time for the defense, so they can be more explosive when they're actually out there. All right, I've seen a lot of reports that Chuba has not been in practice.
I've seen that.
They do get some picks back. They have quite a few picks now, and they can use that for something else if need be. It's especially if they continue to win.
Assist you with financial needs and provide options that are tailored to you. With a wide range of personal, mortgage, and commercial services, you will discover all your banking needs under one roof with a local and personalized touch at Home Trust Bank.
The thing is, James, are they bad quarterbacks, or were they quarterbacks under Matt Rule that made them look like bad quarterbacks? We won't know unless one of them makes it on the field again.
There's almost a part of me that's curious. Like if PJ came out, they had the game they had last week without Matt Rule. What does that look like with Baker? Right? Could Baker do the same thing?
Exactly.
Could Baker come out?
Well, we were just talking about Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
If Christian McCaffrey was there and they did the same game plan, but actually used all three running backs, they might have done even better. I disagree with Rashad about addition by subtraction.
I mean, Matt Rule proved that correct.
Well, that's different, though.
That's a really good, really interesting point. We're going to bring that up on the Views from Mint Street podcast. Brief preview here, but if PJ, after the departure of Matt Rule, came out and had a good game and got a dub, and again, keep in mind, it's over a 3-5 bad Tampa Bay team, but a dub they were not expected to get. Nonetheless, Tampa was a 13-point favorite in that game. If PJ can come out and get a dub versus Tampa without Matt Rule, is there a chance that Baker could make could reemerge, right? Is there a chance that maybe it was Rule holding everybody back? Maybe it was Matt Rule that created the problems. Maybe we're putting this on Ben McAdoo and have been, but as I pointed out a lot of times, Ben McAdoo had some success at the OC at New York, actually had real good success as the OC at New York. What if this genuinely was all on Matt Rule? What if there is cause for a little bit more unbridled optimism than I have allowed myself to experience for the Carolina Panthers since Matt Rule departed? I think it's a very fair question, right? If he leaves and PJ Walker comes out and earns a win over Tampa, earns back-to-back starts for the second time in his career, what are the odds that if Baker was to go back out there, we find out that it was Rule holding back the offense and Baker goes back to being the Baker he was at Cleveland? Now, there are parts of Baker's game that lead me to doubt that. There were a lot of missed throws, a lot of throws down in the dirt. And at the end of the day, that's not on Matt Rule, right? If somebody's open, you got to get him the football. And Bake failed to do that a number of times. But if PJ can have a bit of a resurgence with Matt Rule leaving, what if Baker did too?
See, the other thing is if you are dealing with the oppression of a certain kind of rule over you, if you will.
I will.
Yeah, that will affect you mentally. And suddenly you have freedom from that rule. Then you can be who you are. And will we see that? Will Baker ever make it back on the field again? Will Sam Darnold make it back on the field again? We don't know. We don't know. Baker's number 2 this week. Sam Darnold's not all the way back yet. So could PJ be pulled? Could he get hurt? I mean, there are a lot of things that could get Baker back on the field, and then we'll find out.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. By the way, I do have to correct something that I said in the last segment, because I said Atlanta at 3-5 has a couple of wins over bad teams. They did beat the 49ers and the Seahawks. 2 of their 3 wins are very respectable. I still am not on board with the Seahawks being a really good team.
Well, either one of those teams, do you expect either one of those teams to compete for the Super Bowl on the NFC side?
San Francisco with McCaffrey certainly could.
He was not there when Atlanta beat.
Correct.
Yeah.
So. Correct. That's why they got him, right? Because they're one of those teams that was walking the razor's edge between okay and good. Now they're good, and if they can be great is entirely up to what McCaffrey adds to that team offensively. Seattle is Seattle's an interesting team to me, right? Like, it's an interesting team. They, remember, are one of the Saints' 2 wins, right? Like, Seattle's not quite there. They got blown out by San Francisco 27-7. They barely scraped by a bad Broncos team. The Seahawks barely scraped by a 1-win Lions team. Like, I will give Atlanta a lot of credit for that win over the 49ers by a couple of touchdowns, despite the fact that I think that was around the point that San Francisco was like, we need to get a new gear, right? But let's not lose ourselves thinking that the win over Seattle, even if they are 4-3 as division winners, was incredible, right? The NFC West as a whole right now it's not as bad as the NFC South, but it is the second worst conference as of right now. The Seahawks have a 1-point win over the Broncos, a blowout loss to the Niners, a 4-point loss to Atlanta, a 3-point win over Detroit. By the way, the final score of that game, in case you forgot it, was 48-45. They gave up 45 to the Lions. They lost to New Orleans. They beat Arizona, but other than New Orleans, who hasn't done that yet, the Seahawks' best win was last week when they worked the Chargers. And let's be real, we all came in the day after they worked the Chargers and were like, damn, right? Because I don't think the Chargers are bad, but they're certainly not as good as I thought they were going to be.
Chargers are probably a coach away from winning.
You might not be wrong.
Yeah.
You might not be wrong. So I will correct that. One of Atlanta's 3 wins is very good. The win over San Francisco. The win over San Francisco was absolutely a good win for Atlanta. But they got blown out by the Bengals. Atlanta lost to Tampa Bay, who is also 3-5. They scraped by the Browns by a field goal. They did lose to the Rams by 4. I'm not ready to pretend like this. And by the way, Atlanta lost to the Saints, right? They are one of the Saints' 2 wins. Atlanta and Seattle are the 2 wins for New Orleans. This Atlanta team's not good. Neither is Carolina. They just both have the good fortune of being in the crappiest division we have seen in the NFL in a hot minute, in a while. It's that bad. That being said, as we pointed out, when you hang the banner in the stadium for divisional winner, that crown does not come with an asterisk of, but they were also sub 500. That banner comes with a ticket to the playoffs. That banner comes with the opportunity to get your team right and surprise somebody in the wild card round, in the opening round. What else do you want, right? First overall pick, but you're past that. You're past that at this point. You got 8 picks. You want a top 3 pick. You can put together a package of 4 or 5 picks and move up into that top 3 and be in the same spot that you were already going to be in before you dealt Anderson and McCaffrey, and also have a top 3 pick or top 4 or top 5 pick in the league. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we got to see who those top 3 picks are going to be. Like if Detroit gets the number 1 pick, is Detroit ready to move on from Jared Goff? Do they declare that a failure? And do they draft quarterback early? Do they have faith that Hooker, Stroud, or Young are can't-miss prospects that will be better than Jared Goff?
I got to believe in this draft, not like the last draft. This draft, the quarterback, it's a strong crop. So if you've got a quarterback on your team already that you're not really sure of, I think you're pulling the trigger on one of those guys.
You might not be wrong. You might not be wrong. All right. Let's take our final break of the day. Let's take our final break of the week. When we come back, some parting thoughts on South Carolina, Missouri, and then Twitter trending topics to wrap it up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
So if you're going up against Brady and it's the end of his career, and you know he's going through a lot of problems, you know he's not playing his best, and you get a sack on Brady, does it still have the same meaning to you as getting the sack on him when he was in his prime?
Oh, yeah, I just sacked the GOAT. Of course. It's like going to New Yankee Stadium. Like, it's not old Yankee Stadium. It's not the same thing. But I still get to say I've seen Yankee Stadium.
All right. So back in his prime, if I sacked him, I might, accidentally kick him in the head afterwards. Now I might help him up.
Lonzo's getting soft in his old age. Oh, no, Brady is.
No, James, they didn't call anything last night. Brady was getting beat up. They're like, nah, we don't need this attention anymore. You're on your own, Brady. When he slid and like 5 guys landed on top of him and there was no flag, I'm like, yeah, it's on. The defense was like, ooh, we can hit him tonight. You seen the on the bench where Brian Burns was all excited after he got his sack on. Yeah, I mean, that's what made me think of it. You're still sacking Brady. I will forever, even after I forget people's names, remember my favorite play ever in high school football. When I sacked a quarterback, it had been raining, and you could see on the film, like the whole offensive and defensive line kind of collapse, and then I come out from the middle, and the quarterback was doing some sort of screen where he turned his back to the line, and right when he turned around, I hit him. And helmet to helmet, looking in his eyes, we slid for about 5 or 6 yards. And it was an away game, and things were completely silent. I stood up, and I got heel heat. Oh, it was great. There were boos everywhere. My first game starting on varsity, too. And it was just like, oh, I will remember that forever. I don't think scoring a touchdown can be better than that. I never did, so I can't compare it, but it was in Lancaster, by the way.
Lancaster. It's a nice little place.
This is a different Lancaster.
Oh, that's right. You didn't play high school ball here. Duh, I knew that.
Seriously, I'm asking, what will they think of next? Staples has all your shipping supplies and UPS service in store, and right now get 20%
I swore I already did that.
Express shipping services. Staples, the best kept secret in shipping. Ends 12/31. Valid only in Staples U.S. stores.
Prescription products require an ongoing consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if the prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription require refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra.
Have you seen playoff projections for high school yet?
No.
So they haven't speculated where you might end up having to go?
I mean, they'll either have to go to Dorman or Spartanburg. So I'll get to go back.
So you don't have to go down.
No,
okay.
Not in the first round. I don't think. I could be wrong. I'll ask Kevin.
There's some fringe things that they consider upper state that's not really upper state unless they've fixed that, which I doubt they have.
Texas said, just be happy there aren't 5 Josh Allens.
Yeah, when you get to 5, that might be a major problem for someone. Can get down with that.
Start shopping today at Walgreens.com/Medicare. This afternoon, clouds and sunshine with a high of 67.
Weather brought to you by
I'd like to believe, Marcus, that they won't do that. I don't know if you absolutely had to pick between Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, and I'd go Baker Mayfield still.
I just got a tweet from Ortuondo, at Ortuondo on Twitter, that says, at the Rob Brown Show, please stop screaming, dude. You have a microphone. It works fine.
And testament to how good the equipment is, it works fine after he screams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's that.
First off, Ortuondo, glad to have you listen to the show. That is sincere. He also has as his Twitter bio, in what I consider a beautiful secondary burn, his Twitter bio is, I enjoy beautiful, intelligent, talented women and dislike morons. If I tweeted you, you're one of the two. I am a beautiful, intelligent, talented woman. This is true. Thank you, Ortuondo. Welcome to the show, bud. Glad to have you.
And I just want to apologize on behalf of the fan upstate if Rob pronounced your name wrong.
Ortuondo. I don't know how else I would pronounce Ortuondo.
Either
way,
Just covering butts here. That's all.
It's
that's what I do.
It's called energy, my man. You want to have a little juice. You want to have a little gas. People listening to this are like trying to get through the first part of the day, and I'm here to be that audio Red Bull, my guy.
I also want to point out, and some of you know this laid back version of me, this is not me. But if we have two energy guys on this show, something might catch on fire. So, I mean, you got to balance it out. You absolutely do. I get to be bro on this show.
All right. South Carolina taking on Mizzou. South Carolina ranked AP top 25 for the first time under Shane Beamer. Mizzou has dropped a few SEC contests by inside of a single score. And I'm just going to say this. Carolina, I don't think is in a spot where they're confident enough to overlook Missouri, right? This is a Mizzou team that fell by a single field goal to Auburn. This is the Mizzou team. Keep in mind that in their house, lost by 4 to the number 1 team in all the country, the Georgia Bulldogs. But they did lose to Florida. They did beat Vandy by a single field goal, 17-14. I don't think the Gamecocks are in a spot where they are good enough yet to overlook a team like Mizzou, right? I don't think that they're good enough, but getting that ranking, feeling the juice in that stadium on Saturday night, it can do weird things to the psyche, right? To have that number out by your name can do weird things to the psyche. I'll make this one real simple, Lonzo. As Richard Sherman said, run the dang football. Like Hank Hill said, run the darn football, right? And you'll win this game. You are better than they are. Run the dang football!
Twitter trending topics.
It shouldn't be a goal of mine to interrupt the host with anything. But apparently, I learned this week that's what I do. He was trying so hard. He saw it was coming too. All right, time for Twitter trending topics where I tell everyone what's trending and Rob tells us why. The first one, I'm just going to spell it out because I'm not sure about this word, but it's trending. CATTURD.
Well, that spells cat turd.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know that people are actually tweeting about cat turds.
No, it's 2,847 tweets. Wouldn't that actually be a trending thing? And it's one word, so it could. I mean, I can tell you why.
So Elon Musk, obviously, if you have not heard the news, officially has Twitter now, and Elon Musk, in charge of Twitter, apparently got a tweet from a tweeter whose name is @catturd2.
See, you act like there's a hyphen in there. There's no hyphen.
No, I know that.
It could be all one word.
Dude, I just went and looked.
It could be catered.
Is catturd. The handle is @catturd2, and the picture is of a cat. So
I just don't see a hyphen there, in the interest of trying to spell to pronounce things as they're spelled.
Either way, this person on day one of Elon Musk owning Twitter said, report day one of Elon Musk owning Twitter. I'll be doing this every day to see if anything changes. As of now, I'm still shadow banned, ghost banned, search banned, and Twitter removed 1,200 followers today as usual. Nothing has changed. I'll report again tomorrow. And Elon, on day number one of owning Twitter, responded to catturd2 with, I will be digging in more today. And then 7 hours before that tweeted, the bird is freed. Listen, as a sports radio host, I don't think anything about Twitter is going to change. I know a bunch of people are going to leave because they don't like Elon.
Yeah, they're not leaving. I know they're addicted to this. They're not going anywhere.
A bunch of people have already left because of Elon. A bunch more will be coming because of Elon. As a sports radio host, nothing about Twitter is going to change for me, I don't think. As a dude, very interested in the social experiment that is the evolution of Elon's Twitter moving forward.
What if you just the only difference you see is no more shadow banning? I mean, it's a possibility. I just use it for breaking news.
I get that.
And
I also don't know that I entirely believe in
you don't
shadow
believe,
banning
you
is a
don't-
real thing.
You don't believe in canceling either. Let's get away from the politics.
That's not politics.
let's-
That's literally the biggest social media platform in the world.
We only have time for like one more thing, and I want to get to something that will let everyone know that we're not arguing.
Okay, fair.
Uh,
Wrestling.
Chris Jericho is trending.
There it is. There it is. Is it just me, or has there been a noticeable downtick in the wrestling of Chris Jericho lately?
All right, I want to tell you why he's trending
Please
because
do.
we're running out of time. Apparently, he walked up to CM Punk after the fracas,
Told him, "Get the hell out."
and said, "You are a cancer in this locker room." This is according to a bunch of reports.
Really?
Yes.
So Punk's probably gone. Punk yesterday said that the Elite kicked open the door and it knocked his dog in the face, and the dog had to get teeth removed. And then Meltzer and a bunch of other people within like 30 minutes were like, yeah, that's a lie. Literally no one said that, saw that, or has heard that. That's a lie. Punk's gone, dude. What a downfall. That guy would have been that company, and he just screwed himself up by being an egomaniac. Bummer for him. That's it for us, kids. We'll be back Monday to do it all over and better. Remember, Burns football tonight, hosting Gaffney. I will be on the call.
Views.
And the Views from Mid Street podcast. We'll be recording that here in about half an hour. That episode will be up shortly after that. Have the full breakdown of Carolina at Atlanta, the game for the divisional crown. See you back here on Monday. I'll be popping on to social media throughout the weekend. Follow us there at the Fan Upstate, at the Rob Brown Show. Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Later, brother.
Well, that was anticlimactic and disappointing.
Yeah,
Especially
most
after you wanted to fight over Twitter.
Most
Stop it.
people are disappointed in me most of the time.
It's not true. You're an amazing
We're gonna fight
human
over
being.
time. I'm genuine. Like,
You
this
want-
is one of those things.
You
that
want
I
to fight.
have-
Look at you. You'd like.
No, 'cause my back hurts.
you almost did the picture pose.
Here's the thing. We had this. So Stathakis and I had this conversation with Courtney yesterday. And I'm going to leave this on the stream because I'm curious as to get y'all's thoughts on this, right? I have not just the ability to, but the desire to have conversations with people who I fundamentally disagree with. And I can have that conversation without it becoming a fight, right? Like I can have a conversation with somebody that I disagree with politically or
Well, I think you're wrong.
Right. And that's fine. But like, I want to know why, right? Like, and it's not even like, I want you to tell me why so I can shoot you down. I genuinely want to know why. Like, I understand that there are people who believe that shadow banning happens. And the only evidence I've ever been given is, well, I lost a bunch of followers. It's like, yeah, that's how Twitter works, right? Like sometimes you say things on Twitter that people don't like and they don't want to listen to you anymore. That's just how social media works.
That's just hearsay. I don't believe that.
That I unfollow people all the time, right?
I finally unfollowed Kevin Nash because
Did you really?
Yeah, I did. I finally overcame my fear.
But that's my point,
And
right?
he eliminated his threats that he gave when people.
gotcha,
Yeah,
okay.
so
But that's the thing. Like you unfollowed Kevin Nash for a reason, right?
yeah, because
regardless of the reason,
because his political views got on my nerves, and I'm following him because I want to hear his wrestling takes.
But right, and I get that, and I
and
understand that.
and it's up to him what he wants to post on his own
Absolutely.
Twitter.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of people who follow me because of my sports takes, and then when I tweet about not sports things, they're like, "Rob Brown, I'm unfollowing you because I followed you for sports, not whatever else," and that's fine. But the point is, if Kevin Nash tweets a bunch of political stuff and then a bunch of wrestling fans, as has happened, unfollow him, is Kevin Nash canceled, or is he just not giving you content that you want?
Canceling only works one way. Everybody knows that.
So does shadow banning, right? It's only one direction. That's why Elon's here to save us.
See, the change in tone was not necessary. You changed your
Right,
tone.
but you were you being genuine in what you just said? That canceling only works one way.
In my belief, yes.
Okay, so I dismiss that as real. I don't agree with that, right? I don't agree.
If you were
Now,
on the other side, you'd agree.
correct, but like you saying I'm a victim isn't by default making you a victim, right?
No, a victim is me in the boo box bets almost every
That
single
is
week.
correct. That you are.
That's a victim.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely weekend. I forgot to say don't drink and drive or I'll punch you in the face, so I'll say it to you. Don't drink and drive, I'll punch you in the face. Burns football tonight, Swamp Rabbits tonight and tomorrow, Swamp Rabbits and Triumph tomorrow.